impossible. No! I hunger for plasma. I took it through my hands. I could feel it coursing through his skin right into my fingers. I must keep trying to rid myself of this horrible need for plasma. I feel a hunger. I hunger. I need more plasma. Oh, no! In my country, we eat plasma.
Oh, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to A Weekly Geek with the Plasma Boys. I am the Plasma Addict, Tress Now, and I'm joined by...
and I'm the Plasma Consumer, Dylan Musk.
I did not know it popped off that much. I saw it was 36 seconds, but still pretty good. But then
Did you make that edit, or was that YouTube?
Just
Okay.
download off of YouTube. But then at one point, because I had to share the link, I had our stream up on a different link, so I was getting double Plasma at one point. I thought it was the original video, but... yeah, if people don't know why we do this, because Weekly Geek, it's easy for me to put on the schedule, but you can go back on the Patreon. We decide we need like little code names for each iteration of GeekVerse. As we've said, the next time we do a GeekVerse episode that's just you, me, and Taylor, we have to do that because we never figured it out, and then we forgot. We never classified it. But every other condentation of the team here has a name.
Sorry, condentation?
I don't know what that means.
Permutation, I think is
permutation,
what you want.
yeah. I don't know where the condentation part came up, but...
it's all that plasma you've been smoking. It's just getting to your, going to your head.
As Drax says, all words are made up, you know? But,
That's true.
yeah, so, we're here. If you are wondering, I did get a message. Oh, I got to shout them out. There's somebody on YouTube that messaged me, like us, and just said, like, because I want to show them out. It was nice to like, I'm just listening to the Spider-Man retrospective now. It wasn't a bot or anything. And I was like, I hope you enjoy it. Let's get to Tone Bin Trill. Said, gonna binge this entire podcast. This was my favorite show of all time. Grew up on the Spidey and rewatched it many times on Disney Plus. So enjoy it. If you're listening to this at all, I hope you enjoy it. Obviously, it does not have the crisp audio quality that we have
I was about
now.
to say, in the year 2025, how do you feel about that being someone's inroads into Geekverse?
It's always tough, right? And that's where I like where we are and we have everything and we've re-recorded some stuff. Honestly, there's no shot in our lives for re-recording that, but that's why I hope they bring it back. So it's
was that 2017, 16?
I can click it because he commented on
it
that
probably
first
went a couple of
video.
years to finish the whole thing.
Oh, yeah. So that started
That's
8
early.
years ago. We did that retro.
Right.
8 years. So into 2
That's
years.
insane.
I think we
That is absolutely insane.
Yeah, I think we timed it with we started when Spider-Man did in Civil War, and that was our lead up to Homecoming. It went further past Homecoming, but I think we kind of timed it with that. And I remember because Kyle was on there with us, I think we were just like feeling the Spider-Man love, like, let's do this. I'm like, there's a show and stuff. So yeah, those were good times. I've been diving back into the machine a little bit because I did this tonight with 2 things. You and mine's Daredevil Season 3 review and our Jessica Jones Season 3 because I listened to a cheap plug Taylor and Kirkland's retro and they're just, I wonder, they're like, I wonder what they thought back then. I'm like, what did we think back then? And completely different. I'm not sure how much knowledge you have of Season 3 Daredevil, but if you listen to their retro, they got some hot takes, man. Like Kirkland gave the thing like a 6. Like, it was, they had some problems.
But you and I were very positive, right? The whole way through.
I think we said both. That was the best season of Daredevil. So yeah,
okay.
I think Born Again's gonna be very interesting because all the stuff they're just like, like they don't like. They talk about a bit on the predictions there, like they don't like Daredevil being moody or Fist being so powerful. It's like, well, it's kind of Daredevil 101. Like that, Matt needs to be moody and Fist needs to be powerful.
Okay, I'll bring the Billy Clubs then for those reviews. I got to be ready to fend them off.
Yeah, so there's a cheap plug. Next week, we'll be reviewing Daredevil every week, so look out for that. We have Daredevil Retro, so Kirkland and Taylor reviewed every season. Then we did the predictions, so the feed is just oozing red right now. Later on this week, or I guess next week, me and Dylan will be together again talking about games we've been playing and some unfortunate Warner Brothers news and other stuff. What else is Mickey 17 is next week, so lots of good stuff. Yep. So yeah, we would just appreciate if you like, subscribe. Again, hey, if you want to go listen to a podcast that's 8 years, be your guest. That's the crazy thing. We have been in August doing this for 10 years soon. Dylan brought, which is a good reminder. We're going to meet up and talk about what we're doing for GV Day, but it is crazy that it's a decade of GeekVerse that we're going into. Right? Like actually, we're in it. Like we're months away from a decade. So Yeah, this is Weekly Geek News. This is what we do. Usually it's a bit more quicker, but we went on a tangent because I'm keeping that plasma video here. But gonna do some quick hits on some news, talk about some Marvel stuff. I'm gonna quickly talk about a Kathleen Kennedy thing. If you don't have something to add, great.
Okay.
If not, then just because she made a statement.
I mean, that
And
has
then-
continued to roll in the coming days since our newscast. Even just 2 days ago, there's still more stuff coming out like every hour. It feels
Every
like.
day
It's
there's
crazy.
something. Someone's saying this, and we're talking about some Disney Plus, and then some trailers, and somehow for some reason some Shrek 5 controversy, which I want to pick your brain up.
Okay, yeah,
because
I don't
that-
know anything about the controversy of it. I watched the teaser, but that's as far as I know.
Good. Were you in the Discord today at all? The GV Discord?
Yeah, I didn't even see any Shrek stuff. Maybe I
Perfect.
skipped
Good. Don't
past
look
that
at it yet.
part.
Don't
Okay.
look at it yet and
Okay.
everything like that. So, let's see. So we'll start with this quickly because it's just a quick hit. Dean Rogers says Kennedy not retiring. We have to put up with some more of our Star Wars fans can't get a break. Here's the thing. So I'm gonna bring this up very quickly. Dylan referred to it. We did the first topic. I think it was like 45 minutes where we got into everything, right? Because we talked about Kennedy, Star Wars, the history, who could replace her. This is one thing that I want to get because even the headline of the article. So she did an interview. This is not like a scoop, not like sources say Kennedy sat down with Deadline. And here's the headline: she is not soon retiring, and the films that will keep her in Star Wars orbit for years to come. So that's the headline. Again, she is not soon retiring, and
It's very weirdly worded. Like, it doesn't feel AI, but it feels like a hack job of an article title.
Look at that hatch. Now listen, I just made up a word, and we know I stumble on stuff all the time, right? But that's not me misreading it, right? The films that will keep her in Star Wars orbit for years to come. That's
Yeah, they just
literally-
wanted the orbit pun. They just wanted the
Yes.
space pun, but at the cost of like a legible headline.
So this is
And even
that's what-
saying she is soon retiring is weird to me as well. I don't know.
I think it says not. I think the GV logo is cutting it off.
Yeah,
So
she's
it-
not soon retiring, right?
Yeah,
Which is
she's
also
not
a
soon
strange
retiring.
sentence. Yeah.
But this is the odd thing, right? So I saw this credit to it's whenever now, right? But with the GOH had him on Twitter, Chris Boggles shared it, and I saw this headline right away, right? Of she's not retiring. I went, oh boy, okay. There's some scooper stuff that didn't go well. She's putting a kibosh on it, and I'm not going to spend a long time. But I'm going to go down to the very last question of this article, or the second last question. Here you go. 2 final questions. Deadline says, will you step out as Lucasfilm boss this year? Kennedy, we really don't know at this stage. There's so much going on, Mike. I don't know.
When I read that, I loved the comma Mike. I loved her adding the interviewer's name. Just
Yeah.
has like an air of like she's so pissed off and exhausted of this, and I love that for her.
And to play in that, this is why this whole thing is. Deadline then asks, when it happens, who will make the decision? It's my decision. This is 100% my decision. And that's what I want to get on that. I think this article was either if it was... whether it was just a scooper that heard something and just wanted to go fast, or it was somebody that's like, I don't like Kennedy, I'm going to tell somebody, because like the Puck, went over this. Puck is like a business one. They put it out, and then like all the other S-tier scoopers jumped on it and said, oh, I've heard the same thing. So we don't know, but this definitely feels like this was not... She's leaving. It still sounds like she's leaving. Just sounds like the message that they wanted to put out was her announcing or anything, right? Because even the cliff notes of this article, I tried to find somewhere she talks about like the Mandalorian movie and the Sean Levy movie and stuff. How she's like, oh, I got many projects coming up. These are projects she's working on right now that, of course, will released, but she could still be retired. You're still a producer credit on them, right? Like George Lucas still gets credit on Star Wars movies, but he's been long gone. So that it was like kind of a weird gaslighting article, I think, that just was put out there to like, okay, hey, we wanted to be the one to break this. For some reason, somebody put it out there. We weren't ready to share it, so let's put the kibosh on it. But everything is just like, even then, I want to find the quote is, here you go. Deadline says, how far down the road do you expect before a change gets made, then you will go off and produce these 2 big Star Wars things? Kennedy says, we'll probably make an announcement in months or year out. I have every intention of sticking around to help that person be successful. So again, it's a
Should
weird
be like
thing.
stay on as like an advisory role or something.
Kind of like what Iger did a few months with Chapek. Obviously, we talked about that in the newscast. That didn't work out, and we could see a world where even Kennedy comes back. But it's so weird to be just like, here's the very first paragraph. Let's see. The truth. This is what they just asked. Are you retiring? What's the truth? And she says the truth is, I just want to say loud and clear, I'm not retiring. I will never retire from making movies, which makes sense. She could do other stuff, but look, so I will die making movies. This is the first thing that's important to say. I'm not retiring. What's happening at Lucasfilm is I've been talking for quite some time with Bob and Alan about the eventual succession might look like. We have an amazing bench of people, and we have every intention of making the announcement in the months or a year down the road. So that's why, because I just want to talk about this, because I've seen this everywhere, of like so many articles, headlines, news, like Kathleen Kennedy's not retiring, she ain't going anywhere. That's why you have to, like, Taylor asked me today, right? I'm not sure if you saw on the Discord, I shared that Kristen Ritter's in Dexter. And I'm like, oh, another serial killer. He's like, well, how you know that? I'm like, well, did you click the article? He's like, oh, well, you know me. So that's why I'm just telling you folks, like, go out and read the thing. For her to say, hey, I'm not retiring, but what is it? Where is it again? We have a succession plan. We have an amazing bench of people, every intention of making an announcement in months or a year down the road.
Yeah, that means nothing, right? When it really comes down to it.
But like, to me, it was like, okay, the report that came out 2 nights ago is she's retiring at the end of 2025. And what she's saying, well, we have a succession plan that might come out in the months or a year from now, which even then, if she were to, let's say, retire in February 2006, I would give that scooper credit and say, like, yeah, that's pretty close to the end of 2025, right? Like, that's around then. So the only other things I was going to bring up, which was funny, is she talked about these projects. She confirmed, yeah, Mando and Grogu's going good. Oh, and that's what I was going to say, too. That last thing about, we have an amazing bench of people here. Obviously, who knows if she gets her way, but to me, when you read through like the tea leaves and like between the letters, I think that's literally saying, like, when we're talking about, oh, is it Feige or someone else? I think it sounds like they have every intention of someone on the team, right? Or multiple people. Like, she's making it sound like they're working on a succession plan with people that are around them. Obviously could not happen, but I feel like that is her intention. And even that original article said that she wants to be, like, she would prefer it being Filoni or someone she's worked with, right?
Yeah.
Same way George picked her. So they talked about the Mandalorian Grogu movie, whatever. They did confirm. Where was that? There was some other good quote too about, there's something about plans. Let me do a Control F here. Oh, here we go. Plans. There's a good quote. Okay, let's just do the word plan. There's a lot of plans, I think. Here we go. So, Deadline asked, the flurry of press coverage, it sounds like chaos. What's the reality? Kendi, chaos, question mark? There has never been any chaos because we know exactly what the plan is. That just made me fucking laugh. And we've been covering Star Wars the whole time. We know exactly what the plan is. There's been many I'm sure there's been concepts of a plan, but not the actual plan.
Yeah.
But the only other things here is she confirmed that it looks like it is going. You got the Mando Grogu movie next to filming Sean Levy's movie, so she did confirm that Ryan Gosling is in that, and that's supposed to take place like 5 to 6 years after Force Awakens. Then she said they are working on 3 to 4 things currently, and which was odd to me is even down here I'll find it. Any others I've forgotten, the Deadline person asked after they talked about the ones I talked about. She says, well, I keep waiting for Taika. He's working with another writer now. He's so busy. Yeah, I love him, blah, blah, blah. So what was surprised me was we heard the Taika movie, and then in this whole article, she never once mentions that Rey movie, which I thought would be very curious because, like, last year they announced it. They said we got a writer. So she says, like, hey, yeah, we got Mandalorian Grogu coming out. We got the Sean Levy movie. We got another one. We got Taika's. Rey's movie at one point was supposed to start filming this year, and it feels very odd that she not in this Deadline article guy Mike even asks, hey, any other projects we haven't talked about? No, to mention the Rey one. So I'm just gonna say, people, we're gonna talk about Daisy Ridley later on. Maybe there's a reason we're talking about her because her schedule's gonna be cleared up again. So just buckle up as always. But I just want to share that because there's some stuff in there that's interesting. But
I didn't read the whole thing, obviously. I just the bits you popped up there, but that is a pretty weird article. Even the way she's talking is kind of strange. And I don't read other articles with her, so maybe that's par for the course. But that is saying there's no chaos, we know what's going on, seems like this article is chaotic. You can't even answer these questions in a regular human being way. So we'll see.
It was weird. It just felt like, hey, there's lots of fire. Let's take a bucket, throw water on it. But then the fire's still going because it really confirmed, like, I don't know, maybe she took a abundance to, maybe people thought she was retiring in general. And I just took it as from Lucasfilm or whatnot. But Yeah, so look out for that. Who knows? Maybe next Weekly Geek there'll be another article or another thing coming out. But to me, like, Scooper say, hey, she's trying in the next year, and she says, well, the plan, that's not true, but the plan is in months or a year to come. I don't know. If it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, I think it's a duck, but
just might be Howard.
Yeah. Speaking of ducks, no Howard the Duck and Spider-Man, but I have a few Spider-Man related things. Yeah, that I would like it, but I wouldn't like that. I'd like Howard Duck to be in Guardians 4, but I don't even know if they're. Do you think we ever had Guardians 4?
Yeah, someday. Yep. I mean, the third one did 700 million. 800?
Yeah, pretty close to. I think it was close, or just at 800 million.
And I think with all we've heard, I think they're just going back to the well a little bit. They set up a lot with I forget it was post credit or the final scene of the movie, but there's a lot charted up there. And then at some point they're going to need to get the cosmic stuff back into it. We've been back on Earth for a while, but yeah, they're gonna need to do that. So at some point, but is it going to be with Gunn? No,
no, I don't think that's going to happen. And I kind of hope they like that loser squad they introduced us to at the end. I kind of hope they like kill them off, just because I don't know. This is something.
We don't even know them yet. You don't know how do you know they're a loser squad?
I just saw the team and I'm like, just Sean Gunn. There's
like kid. Would Sean Gunn come back for it?
No, he's too low.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. I think
without his brother.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it would be fun to see, and maybe
at some point you got to fly the coop. You gotta work on a project without your brother.
But your brother owns the other coop, so do you want to fly too far away from it?
That's true. He does own the coop.
Yeah. So what we're talking about now is some Spider-Man 4 related / rumors. So I'm gonna throw 3 things here at you, Dylan. So there's a Scooper. This is C tier. All these are C tier, ranging to C tier, but that's what we talk about. So Spider-Man 4. Tone rumored to be inspired by the Batman. Point of inspiration for the Spider-Man 4 is indeed the Batman. While the Homecoming trilogy was more lighthearted and optimistic, Destined to Marvel will lean into that anger. Expect more grit and more focus on hand-to-hand combat and no multiverse villains. The film will still lead into Secret Wars, but the current priority at Marvel is making a grounded and more mature direction for the web after the events of No Way Home and Born Again. I will say this now. I said this on Marvel Alliance when I came back. I haven't said on GeekVerse. I'm a person that I have no problem talking about the news. I put this in here, so you can blame me. I'm very tired of the Spider-Man plot rumors and what's going on, because I just I feel like because it's just like
I thought you don't get tired of this stuff. I thought this fuels you.
I'm fine if it's like we know the plot and then it's like who's the villains, who's the casting. But when it's the plot, when it's like it's grounded, well, it's multiverse, well, it's kind of a mix, well, it's going back to grounded. It's like what is really going on?
Has been whiplashy for sure.
Yeah, and this sounds great, right? Again, it's tough because I hear this, and maybe they're playing werewolf, but both D'Onofrio and Charlie Cox are like, yeah, no, we're not in Spider-Man 4. And to me, they said in like a more disappointed way, not like Garfield being like, people keep not believing me. This was like, no, we're not. Like, we don't know it if we are. But like, this sounds great and all. It's just also the thing that I just don't know. One, like, I actually don't know how true it is, but 2, I just don't know if they can do, like, when I look at Destin Daniel Cretton and Shang-Chi and you go, okay, that guy, maybe it's something in his wheelhouse, but he's like, he wants to make a film that's like the Batman. I almost go like, I feel like that's not, it doesn't like compute with me. I feel like it's kind of like you'd want to do like what you do with Shang-Chi, and Shang-Chi has some dark stuff in there. I don't think Shang-Chi is just like all good times. Like some of the stuff with the dad is pretty like dramatic, and there's some dark stuff there. So it's just, I don't know. It's just like, and I wouldn't mind that. That's could be cool of, Tom Holland stretching some muscles and he's like, we're seeing a very down and out Peter, but again, does the world want that? So like obviously grounded, I hope that you could get like a Daredevil, Punisher, but even if not, would that interest you of like, let's say we don't even get those cameos, but just like a Spider-Man that's very, not even grounded in the sense of no multiverse, just the fact of like, he's going to be depressed. Like he's going to be sad. He's going to be like our boy, Matt Murdock. He's going to be going through it. Does that interest you? Or you're like, no, like I have other like characters I want to see do that.
Yeah, I mean, as you mentioned, we've been going on the freaking roundabout on this Spider-Man stuff back and forth, and this is one of the ones that I actually do really like. I've been down on some of the pitches, up on other ones, and I do really like this.
The Punisher Hulk one, when I was off, I listened to that one. That was
my god, yeah,
that was a wild one. I was like, I don't know what they're cooking there when they were thinking of that idea, if that's true. So
it's an idea, yeah. But no, I think this works. I mean, even hearing that it's based on Batman. I mean, I do love that movie, and so that sounds good to me. But I do still feel like it would be somewhere. It would be a meeting in the middle between like a classic Marvel tone. And we have had darker Marvel stuff, but a Marvel tone and the Batman, so it would be maybe not as striking of a difference. But I do think it's good for these characters across their different movies, especially if they're characters like Thor and now Spider-Man who are getting a fourth movie, that they get some different flavor, that we get some different people in there. Even though I don't love the first two Thors, I think it's good that those exist and their tone. And then we got the Taika stuff, and some people were already kind of tired of it after Ragnarok. But it's like, okay, now we know the next Thor thing's not going to be Taika, or it seems like it. So we're going to get like a switch of tone there and something else. And it's tricky to make these things consistent and make these characters feel like real. They almost become, I don't know, a bit like, I don't know, like a character in a play or something. Like, I guess they feel a little bit less consistent when you do that sort of stuff, switching around directors and writers and whatnot. But I think this actually makes sense for the character of Spider-Man and the journey we went on, right? Because of the place we leave off after No Way Home, it would make sense. That's where the character should be, and that's why I've been a little disappointed in hearing some of the other places we can go, because we've given ourselves a really good reason to throw him back to street level stuff. He should be sad, really, really sad. He should be really messed up mentally. And so this is like the perfect time to do it. And then you can, after one movie, build back up and get more of the bombastic stuff. In terms of the no multiverse angle, you know, I'm greedy. I want more of the Spider-Man trio. I want them to come back. I want my Green Goblin and these characters to come back too. But I also think there's so many other Spider-Man characters and places we can go within this darker universe, and we'll have time for that. Tom Holland's young. I'm sure he's going to play this character for 63 years, so we'll have time to get to all that stuff. 63. So he's like 30, so that'd be like put him in his 90s. Yeah. Is he 20? I don't even know how old that guy is.
Well, you could count the years he's already put in the time though, too. Right?
Okay, sure. So that's like a decade almost. Yeah.
Yeah. So 50. He'd be playing it till he's 80. He's gonna be doing.
And you know what?
Backflips.
Let's do it. I'm down. But yeah, this sounds good to me, but I can definitely, I understand why you're maybe getting a little bit exhausted of this Spider-Man roundabout.
Yeah, and I just hope we hear something soon, because the movie's supposedly out next year. I don't know if I believe that anymore. We'll see. And like Tom Holland,
I mean, No Way Home had a pretty quick turnover time or production time. Like they kind of fast tracked it, right, and got it made pretty quick.
They did, but I think the difference this go around is Holland's already doing Avengers and he's doing Odyssey. So like he's got a busy summer right now filming. And so
Avengers has been delayed and moved so many times. When is that again?
April's is film. Like when's it come out?
I guess, yeah, when's it filming? When's it coming out?
Filming April, so in a couple months, and then coming out May.
Okay.
Coming out in May.
That's exciting. I guess I still feel like that's years and years away, which, you know, the movie will be still, but that's cool that it's filming soon. Okay, that's exciting.
I very much worry for the effects of that movie with the just 13-month turnaround to film in April, then to be done in May, like to have it released.
Yeah, I mean, maybe what we can hope for is that the first of the two Avengers movies is a more grounded, chill situation, and not. And the second one is the insane one that, you know, takes longer and needs more time to cook.
Yeah, well, in that in your multiverse speech, there you mentioned Goblin. So this is what I want to bring up to you, that supposedly, you can see to your rumor that they've had talks about William Dafoe to return. Now, the asterisk here, unlike the next news coming up, is they didn't say for Spider-Man 4. It was just a return. So obviously that could be this. That could be Secret Wars. I'm not sure if they want to use Norman. He would be him going forward. I was going to ask you, do you also, we love Dafoe, but in No Way Home, you know, they bring him back. He's the main villain, all that. They kind of save him in a way, right? Like they take the Goblin out of him. Do you foresee, like, do you want that character back? Or would you be fine if they said, like, hey, just like J. Jonah Jameson, if we do Norman in our universe, we just want Dafoe to play him again? Like, if they sit you down, they said, hey, no matter what, Dafoe's coming back. Do you have a preference on how they would use him?
Yeah, I mean, good point. Because I did mention him in my speech there, but I don't know if he actually is one of the ones I would want most. Just like for story wise, of course, like the fanboy in me would like, yes, I'll take it because he's always great. He always brings it, no matter what movie he's doing, even if it's some weird crappy movie. Willem is like the star. He's always a highlight. My thought when I read that was maybe Doctor Strange, right? The next one there. Maybe darker, maybe that could be like the next multiversal thing. We got the dark dimension stuff. He's probably gonna be scooting around different dimensions. I guess he didn't really have a scene explicitly with Goblin. Like he was in that final scene in No Way Home.
Goblin hit him with a pumpkin bomb. That was about it.
Okay, I can't even remember this pumpkin bomb, but at least there's fragments there, right? Set up for potentially some rivalry between them, even if it is just like a smaller sequence of the movie, one sort of sequence. But other than that, like I don't really see any storyline that off the top of my head makes sense for him to pop in, other than like, of course, Spider-Man, right? So I don't know. Do you have any pitches for that? Is there a project I'm forgetting about that would be a good fit?
Like, obviously, like the dumb one's just like Secret Wars, right? Because like,
well,
who can we get? But like, what I was gonna ask you in the situation, which is weird, when so they get the Goblin juice out of him and he's a normal guy, and they send him back to his universe. Do we think we're gonna get a little trippy here? You got Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, right? Do you think those are two separate times now, where Tobey Maguire is, he's lived, Harry's died, Norman died, and he goes back? Or is it that Norman turning good, like, changed a bunch of stuff in his world? Because
I see. The butterfly effect of it all?
Yeah, because my only pitch is what I want. Obviously, with Spider-Man 4, if it's grounded, who knows? But if we're doing multiverse again, I've always said, like, I would like to do the verse where he goes to their worlds now, so we can meet Kirsten Dunst and we meet this stuff. So that's where I could see, like, let's say there's a movie where he goes to Tobey Maguire's world and Dafoe's there, but like as like not a good guy, but he's not like crazy Storm and Norman like the Goblin. Like, I think that could be cool. He's a scientist, he's helping out, but I wonder. I kind of felt like No Way Home was a one-shot deal as far as like a multiverse Norman of like that's what you did, and you killed him off. You killed Goblin off, I'll say. Not Norman, but you killed Goblin off. That's it. Like, you don't get to do it again. I guess if I were to sit me down and just say, hey, we don't really think an actor could do this, we just want him to do it again, that could be fun, but then I need to see, like, what is the pitch of that? Because Holland would know what happens to Norman, right? So you can't do the whole thing again, like, oh, he takes Norman in, or Peter in as like a son figure, and then oh my God, he's a Goblin. And like how old is Dafoe now? Because I just don't know if he would have the age where would he have a son like hair? Like, he's 69. Anybody could, I guess, could have kids when they're
He's 69.
He's 69. He looks great,
Holy
but like,
fuck.
I don't think you could do the thing where like Peter's in college and he meets Harry. He's like, oh, here's my dad. Like, maybe here's my grandpa. But like, I just don't. Other than them going to new Tobey's universe and like a actual real life Norman.
Would you actually want that though? Like
but the studios wouldn't. I think that'd be very cool if they kept it secret. And let's say Tom Holland's in Peter's world.
Would that be like a full movie? Would that be like a fun scene, or is that like actually
just a
grounds
scene?
For like
just a scene, just like
just
Peter
a scene. Okay.
Yeah, Peter just being like, "Oh, I know somebody that can help," and then you walk in and you see Norman, and you think, "Oh, what's going on here?" But they explain, no, since we hit him with that juice thing, like he's still been good. He's just a scientist again, and he helps them out. Like, I literally think it's just like the way Howard Stark was in Endgame for a scene with Downey, something like that. But I don't think that's what they would want, Marvel. I don't think they would like want Dafoe just be like, oh, we want you to come back just to be nice Norman,
And I mean, especially the surprise of him coming back has already happened, and it's in like what would be, kind of objectively a more exciting way. So to like go to do something like that, I don't know. I guess I'm not buying. I'm sure you could write a great script around that, but I don't know if off the top of my head I want that pitch. I don't want him to go to their worlds.
You don't want Holland at all to go to their worlds.
I don't think so. No.
Oh, okay. How do we meet MJ then and stuff like that, or like maybe a Gwen Stacy if she's alive again, like Emma Stone. I don't think we're doing.
Well, she's
that
already
anymore.
Dead, so I think that ship is sailed.
Multiverse stuff. They bring her back.
I mean, I think if you do a multiverse stuff, you just have her play the character without any ties to that movie, right? She just actually is in the suit and everything, and we just kind of roll with it for fun.
Is that what and that's the other thing to me, like, are you interested if they go, okay, so he's not in Tobey Maguire's world and he's not in Holland's world. We're just going to, let's say in Secret Wars, there's a bunch of villains that pop out of portals we have to fight, and it's just like another William Dafoe Green Goblin. It's just Green Goblin again. Like, that to me I don't want, because that feels like we're getting into
retreading.
Like...
That feels like chuck that into Secret Wars. We don't need that in another Spidey movie.
But I don't know if I want that in Secret Wars, because then I feel like we're getting bottom of the barrel of like, we're just like, oh, Dafoe's a name, just put him in there. Like, that's just like, well, we just had him as a Goblin, like, it's just so it feels weird to see this news and be like, to see, oh, Dafoe is in talks for something, but for me to actually get excited, it's like, I'm not actually. And that's the weird thing. Like, I don't think there's a rule, and I think there's times where we could move on. I think if they do Norman in the MCU, get a new guy. I think I've said, like, we've reviewed, you can check it out, we reviewed all the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man episodes. Coleman Domingo, that's perfect. You tell me tomorrow, Coleman Domingo, live action Norman, perfect, done. Like, I think there's lots of great actors, and I don't think Dafoe's at this stage of his career he's gonna like care. Like, I think he was just happy to come back for No Way Home, and like he got to be the main villain of that. Like that he was the showcase. So
I mean, I think that's a very mature take of you, Travis. Actually, I think a lot of people would be like mindless fanboy. Yeah, I'll take it. But I think that's like you're going a step beyond and looking if it would actually make sense or add to that character or Spidey. And I think you're right that I don't think it really would. No, I'm sure there's a really great writer who could make it happen and it would be magical. But yeah, I feel like we're set up to be in a new, interesting place, and I just want them to stick that landing before we get too carried away with other stuff.
And don't prop me up too much, because don't get me wrong. I want Ben Affleck Daredevil to pop out in a scene randomly in Secret Wars just for once.
That one is a little more. It's a little more justified. Yeah, yes. Like Goblin. It's like that's still. You can go on Disney Plus and watch that right now. Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm just trying to think of any or I don't know. Is there a way where he can be like a good Goblin and he's on the team this time? And that to me doesn't. I don't want good Goblin. Like that doesn't sound fun to me. Like that. Just,
although you know what I'm envisioning right now is just Green Goblin in the suit, the full suit, right next to Downey in the Doom suit, and I feel like that duo would be badass. Like the green duo there.
That could be kind of fun if we have. See, now there's maybe something there where you have Steve potentially being Hydra Cap, right? And you have Doomsday or Downey being Doomsday. If you had a couple other Marvel villains, now this time they're on the hero side. So you have like a Green Goblin that is good. He's like the Hulk, like he's like managed his powers, but then he's going up against like a Downey who's evil. Like there's a fun.
Or if the idea for Doom is like, okay, I gotta get my crew of my roster here are like the people who can take down my opponents, and he knows that Goblin knows how to take down Spidey, so and so knows how to take down Doctor Strange, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But then again, it's like since we don't even know who our Avengers team are, it's like hard to talk too much about what that pitch would look like.
Oh, I know.
But and that also maybe blows the proportion of what I think that Doom movie is going to be. Versus where I think that Secret Wars is more the spot where that stuff would happen. Yeah.
Or what if it was the reverse? What if Doom was like, for some reason, because sometimes Doom has a hero complex, what if he's going around killing some of the multiverse's like biggest villains out there? Like, because he's worried they might be a threat to him. Like he kills like Thanos in a universe and he kills Green Goblin in a universe. I don't think we're going to get that because that sounds like a very expensive montage. But like, so because I do think we're going to get, because with this picture Green Goblin, I'm not going to say 100%. I'm 51% sure that Thanos will be in one of these Avengers movies, and he's going to be a good guy this time, though. I think they're going to make the pitch
51?
Like 51. I'm not 50-50, so I'm on the yes for 51. Because I just feel like what's more intriguing than Thanos having like someone being worse than Thanos, and he has to go up against him? Because me and Taylor talked about this a couple weeks ago, but I kind of want like the Dead Man Tales Barbossa thing, right? Where Barbossa, main villain the first one, but because what's his name, Davy Jones was so bad, they're forced to work with Barbossa, right? So imagine that they find or again, I've always said Thanos isn't dead; he just got snapped away. You can bring him back. All the snap people didn't die; they were just like floating around somewhere.
Yeah, but now then they would need to get another gauntlet. And
go to TVA. There's tons of those, right? Look at all those stones they got up there.
True.
Take those.
These inert stones.
Yeah,
that's an interesting. To me, that feels too soon. I also I don't want to taint that era. That MCU era is just. It's not perfect, of course, but it's. I just don't want to ruin any of it. I want to keep it in its little cage, locked up on the shelf. Taylor got all his Black Series figures. Like, keep them in the box. I think that's kind of my thought there.
Do they already not do that with Skull Rhodey though? Like
don't get me started on Skull Rhodey.
Rhodey? We don't have.
No, they have. That's the thing. But the more you do it, the more I go back to these movies, and I'm frustrated about this stuff. And I haven't done a rewatch since the Skull Rhodey reveal, but I'm sure that'll piss me off in certain scenes when I'm like, this doesn't hit the same anymore. Not that Don Cheadle was. My tier 1 character anyway, but he's in it a lot. So.
He's on the tier 1 team. That's what I'd say.
Oh yeah, he has the amount of appearances of a tier 1. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think there's something like you do Doomsday, do something similar to Infinity War where Doomsday wins, kills, or takes out a lot of our heroes, and when you have like a very little team, they go, "Oh, we need something," and someone's like, "Oh, I know an idea," and then just like Thanos walking out, like that's gonna be. Or imagine you get to see Thanos and like Willem Dafoe working together. I don't know what that could be there. Now I'm just picturing the Thunderbolts though, which would be like a very expensive Thunderbolts. But
it's funny when you're talking about this now. With that perspective, Green Goblin feels so inconsequential. It's like, has he ever really been that powerful? Like, not really. When you compare him to some of these bigger villains that we've had, it's like, what would he be doing on the roster for either Doom hiring him to help take out the heroes, or even the heroes wanting to recruit him to take out the bad guy. It's like, hey, it's just Goblin. He's kind of a low tier in terms of actual power level, although he has had some consequential kills, I guess.
Yeah, and maybe they just want,
just
like,
not against
Goblin
like the really
juice.
powerful people. He goes for the heart picks instead of the power picks.
But like I said, No Way Home, he did manage to like knock out Doctor Strange with a pumpkin ball one time because he like hides it in.
That is very
cube.
impressive because Doctor Strange is one of the higher power level guys.
Because Goblin has like, I don't know if so in video games
He's unpredictable, which is for anyone that's going to be a challenge.
That's what I was gonna say. In video games, you know, lots of characters have like the luck stat. He is the tricky stat. Like Villain's got the trickster stat where it's not Loki level, you know, trickster god, but like Goblin is like at least like I'd say a minimum 8 out of 10 on that scale on the trick.
Well, also
god.
because he has the two minds to him, I feel like his stats like change every hour, right? So it's like he might have 8 intelligence, 4 dexterity, but in the next hour that could like switch back and forth, and that's hard to contend with when so much of these movies are like, okay, let's build the plan to like take out this villain. You know, we're gonna bait Venom over to these bars and then smack the bars, and it'll be really loud. Like, I don't know, if they're constantly changing, it's hard to tack him down.
Problem is Norman Osborn, his luck stat 0 on the luck stats. Just Norman himself because he became Goblin, right? So
yeah, okay,
you know,
that's fair.
That's not what
you gotta have some luck. You never know exactly what it does, but you want it still.
Yeah.
It's one of those stats. Yeah.
Speaking of, I got nothing to go here. We spoke about earlier, Daisy Ridley. There's a rumor going around that she's in Spider-Man 4. Now, I don't know. Me and Tara talked about this a couple weeks ago. We went down a list of potentials. This kind of fits with, I don't know if this would be the character, but there was rumors that they're looking at a new love interest. I think there's a double thing of one, they want to go in a new direction, but I think it's also that Zendaya is just like soup. Like the new rumor is for Spider-Man that she's going to be in there for like a cup of coffee because she's doing Odyssey, she's doing doing something,
5.
she's doing Shrek 5, she's doing something else. She's like, oh, Euphoria 3 right now, like
some other Dune thing at some point. Yeah.
She no, legitimately they're filming Dune 3 I think at the end of this year. So like she's like booked up. So I think that's the idea. So I want to ask you again, go back to the Plasma Boy Spider-Man retrospective. Is there any, even if she's not the female love interest, between that, the video games, is there any character that Daisy Ridley screams out to you of playing? This Woodward Night thing, I've never watched the movie. I think Briggs did. Did you ever watch that Chaos Walking movie? Remember back in the day, the early days of GeekVerse, where it was like announced for 2016 and got delayed like 3 years in a row? I've never watched that. It's like her, Tom Holland, Mads Mikkelsen. It's something like...
I was going to ask, I thought there was a movie that her and Tom Holland were already in together, but I couldn't remember what it was. But there you go, Chaos Walking.
And I've never seen it. And I think Briggs saw it, and she was like, nah, don't waste your time on this. But I still want to, because it's like a movie with Holland, Ridley, and Mads Mikkelsen. Like, there has to be something in there enjoyable. But yeah, is there any Spidey character that you like? You know, and honestly, I do believe this rumor has some merit, because if at one point Ray wasn't filming till next year. If Kathleen Kennedy's not even talking about it, I don't even know where that is on the board. So go do something. But is there anyone that jumps out to you?
I got a pitch. My pitch is, and I Googled this,
Goblin.
this has been a relationship in the comics.
Okay.
I mean, almost all, I feel like, characters have shacked up at some point. So I don't know how much that proves. But here's my pitch. Kitty Pryde, X-Men character.
Kitty Pryde. I do want that. I won't say the problem is, because I don't want to be that guy, but how old is she? Daisy Ridley.
Kitty Pryde or Daisy Ridley?
She's 32. The good thing is Daisy Ridley looks young. I think that just all depends on how young these X-Men people are. Because if they're going Sadie Sink in that age, they're all like 20s. So that's where I'd say it doesn't work. But as the actual casting, I like the casting. She would make a good... and is she a part of the X-Men? Do they mention said X-Men? Or she's just the invisible...
Yeah, I guess
girl,
we've really started laying it down with Miss Marvel and the mutant DNA. We have Adamantium now from Brave New World. So and we have Wolverine, you know, kind of sort of in this
he's somewhere
in
this
there. 6 months. Well, not really 6 months. Who the heck knows?
No, he's still in
but
Deadpool's universe now. But they're all gonna meet up and stuff.
They're tickling the edges there. I don't know why I worded it that way, but I think that could be another good step, because you know there's so many ways they could go with X-Men. But one thing it always feels a little overwhelming is, man, there's so many characters that you do.
Yes.
How do you do it? Do you trickle it out through other projects? Do you just blast it all in the first X-Men movie? And I feel like because the MCU is set up as it is, and they know everyone's going to see Spider-Man, maybe that is a good way to break it down, get the hype building for an X-Men thing. So yeah, and so maybe it gets mentioned. I don't think it's a part of the plot. I don't think like he goes to the X Mansion to recruit her or something like that.
Series episode?
I think she
That'd
just
be great.
maybe she doesn't even say X-Men. Maybe she just mentions like Iceman or something. You know, some other random character back at the mansion, or maybe one of them comes to help in a fight. I don't know, but like you know, it's not an X-Men movie. Like it is more about them. But I think that could be a good pitch. I think they could have interesting power usage with each other, so that could be kind of fun. That's my pitch. I think it could be interesting. I think the ages, as you're mentioning, maybe slightly off, but I think it passes still.
Yeah, I would be completely unoriginal, and what I would do is steal two things from two other Spider-Man movies. Where, for Homecoming, I would not reveal her name. I would say her name's like Caitlin, but then like she shortens it to Kitty Pryde. So like at first, like we don't like the way MJ was. What was Zendaya in the first? Wasn't it just Michelle in the first movie? Right? They just called her Michelle, and then she's like, my friends call me MJ. So I wouldn't do that for the end of the movie, but I'd say till you do a trailer or even in the movie, like just say, okay, it's Caitlin. It's I don't know what's short for Kitty, but like whatever Kitty might do, you know. And then I would also steal Into the Spider-Verse, where Gwen Stacy's in the school doing stuff and she has a mission, but then halfway through the movie she busts out her powers. That's what I do. Is Tom Holland meets this girl one way or another, college, new job,
college
Daily
probably
Bugle,
makes sense. Although I don't know if he's going to college, but maybe
Daily Bugle then, right? They could both be like
the Bugle,
workers.
She gets really good camera shots because she can go invisible and sneak in, or can she go invisible? She can, right? Is that a thing she has? Or is it more just wall? Either way, if she can go through walls, that's a good way. You know, we always said we want to be able to fly on the wall on these like CEO investor meetings. She can do that. She can get in there real quick.
Yeah, so that's what I would do with that. And then other than that, I don't know. Like, I guess I kind of forget the Daily Bugle is kind of a super like Alex Jones right wing thing in the MCU, right? Like JK's not like he's not the picture guy, so I don't know what works there.
Oh,
so
true.
I was gonna say
I forgot about that.
Yeah, you can't do Betty Brant. I don't.
Well, we already have Betty, right? Isn't one of the
We do have Betty Brant. Yeah, you're
like
right.
she's the one on like doing the newscasting.
She's
right?
the blonde from Nice Guys and the Mean Girls remake. She's the main.
The Nice Guys and the Mean Girls.
Or is it me? Yeah, it is Mean Girls. Yeah, she is. I don't know what's next for her, but okay, I guess you're right. So Betty's gone. Which, you know what? Like, I guess they were made with Ned. Stupid story of her. Remember her and Ned? They dated for that stupid trip, and then they broke up.
I did forget about that, but now it's coming back to me.
So
I just couldn't think of another classic Spider-Man character that I know of that she really fits with. So that's where I was struggling and going outside of the classics.
So my pitch for her is and I don't see her as Gwen, like not even because the hair. I just like it's not the right type of vibe. Even Gwen State, like Spider-Gwen's like, no, I don't think it's the right vibe.
I agree.
Same thing as Black Cat. Like I don't think that's the right vibe for me. The one I was jumping to was maybe Silver Sable, because she has a movie coming out this month or something called like The Cleaner or something like that, where she's like a hit woman. So I wonder if it's like I've heard she's good, and I don't know how good, but like maybe that's something where it's like just a badass, just like assassin or like runner of something.
She doesn't have any powers, right? Like in the classics,
I don't think
like increased stamina. Yeah.
I think she's just like a Nick Fury like widow, where it's just like she's good at a bunch of stuff. But I could see her being that hard nosed type of person. But other than that, I don't know. Like, actually, you know what I would love them to do, but they wouldn't do it? I would love them to do Liv Octavius. How Spider-Verse had that, the female Doc Ock. I think that would be cool, because that's a way where it's like, same thing, like, okay.
Does she have the gusto for that role, you think?
I don't know, actually.
I haven't seen her in non-Star Wars stuff, other than like the Orient Express, I think, or whatever one of those she was in. But
again, I haven't seen it. Apparently, she's in a movie last year that was an indie drama really good. I think it's like... I Wish I Was Dying, or I Like the Sound of Dying, or something dying.
Sounds like an actress
yes,
movie.
It's very much an independent, And then she played some movie where she was a swimmer, and it was like a very dramatic movie. But that's why I'd like to test like the gusto of like, because that role you got to be a little charming, which I think Daisy Ridley could be. You got to be badass. You got to seem smart, which I think you could be. But then it's like for like the cheesy over the top stuff, I don't know. But I would just love them to be like, okay, we don't maybe want to do a male Doc Ock. We just do that. How we do it? Well, let's do Liv. And I feel like the look, I don't think she'll have the Spider-Verse like crazy hair, but like maybe she's a fellow scientist, and her and Peter that way. And you don't even got to do a romantic thing, but I don't know. I feel like we've many years talked about our being in the MCU, and I would like it to happen because I don't think
Do
we're
you
getting
not,
this movie. But
given that you know you don't want Norman back because we just had him in No Way Home, like you don't feel that way even if we did the the gender swap of Otto, even though we just got him in No Way Home as well?
not really, because I guess like that's why I don't think they would do it. I think you're right. They like maybe they do it on Spider-Man
Plus, like
5 or
Spider-Verse
6.
also did it recently. So
Yeah.
I don't know if it's too
I
much.
think 5 or 6 where it's like they're way down the line. But for here, they probably wouldn't. But I just think because he was less of a main character than Norman was. Like I think to me, it's like Peter, the other Spider-Man, Zendaya, and like Norman,
Yeah,
and then the other hero, are kind of around. So
I guess I feel like No Way Home was an exception because they were able to get everyone, and so well, not everyone, but like they got the big players from all those other Spider-Man movies, so it makes sense. But if you go back to Homecoming and Far From Home, all these home man, it's hard. It's hard
there
to
better not
rifle
be a
them.
home. There better not
But
be
like
a home.
Vulture and Mysterio, like using characters that had not been seen before in live action. I think we're gonna go that route again for this. I think they would want to go down that route and explore some more characters that we haven't seen before, unless it's someone coming back, a legacy role. But we already kind of talked about that angle.
I was just doing a quick search. I don't know any of these. So I did a quick search of Spider-Man villains not in live action yet. Mr. Negative, Chameleon. I guess you could do like a gender swap one. Hobgoblin. That's what I'd love. Do a gender swapped Goblin and make it Hobgoblin. That could be fun. Now
I would actually be super down for that.
Yeah, because like there's people like there's people like us that love Hobgoblin, but I'm never gonna be like, oh my god, they made her like. I feel like there's some people, but like Hobgoblin's not like a
Plus
so
you could
mainstream.
because you know how like the Hobgoblin was like a big reveal in the animated series. You could do something like that. Like maybe she has like a voice modulator thing, and we think it's a man, and then
great.
and then he rips off the mask, and then it's Daisy Ridley under there.
And especially too because sometimes Hobgoblin is Ned Leeds. Some of the comic people might be thinking, oh, it's Ned under that mask. Like you could do some fun stuff.
But I don't know if they.
there.
I feel like they want Daisy Ridley's face present a lot, like in the marketing and stuff too.
Yeah, but you could make her be a different character though. Have her like a new scientist,
that
love
reveal.
interest.
So she has like the Clark Kent version, and then she has the
Yeah.
superhero. Yeah. Okay.
Who is Swarm? It's Fritz von Meyer.
Say 2-3 in Marvel Snap, really good card in Marvel Snap with different
Character's
discard decks.
entire body's composed of bees.
Hell
I don't think Daisy's playing that. I don't want her to do that.
That's like a
but
Nick Cage role for sure.
Who's the Black Tarantula? Is there like dumb question? Me and the kids right now we're getting back into on Disney Plus. We love watching the. I try to at least once a week we watch some sort of documentary about like bugs or animals and whatnot.
Oh, I
just
love
like
that. Cool.
Something to get them bring. And sometimes like just when we're hiking, we talk about animals and like I don't know. We should like figure this out.
Nice.
Are all tarantula like? I guess this is the black tarantula. So I guess not all tarantulas are black then, eh? I guess there's different, like, I thought they were, but maybe I'm wrong.
Isn't this the name of a hero, though? Not like an actual
No, it's a villain, but that's what I mean. Like, how come he's not just tarantula? He's black tarantula.
I guess it's a little bit of a differentiator. I don't know.
He's been around since 97, so...
Like, why is it the Silver Sable? Why isn't it just Sable?
That's true. Abilities, skilled martial artist, superhuman strength, genius level intelligence, healing factor, energy beam projection through eyes. So he's just like Cyclops and Wolverine put together. So Jackal we haven't gone Tombstone or Hammerhead in live action.
Tombstone?
Yeah, not live action, right?
Not even like a guy whose name is like his human name is like the same name as Tombstone?
No Lonnie? No, we've got no Lonnie yet. So Alistair Smythe, Silver Sable's on the list, Black Cat. There's not many. Spot, make her there you go. Generous Spot, that could be a fun one too. That I think I guess Spider-Verse is doing that right now, so they wouldn't do that.
Spider-Verse is doing that, yeah. I don't think we want to double down on that.
Yeah, so who knows? I don't know. And you know what? There's always a chance she could just be playing someone that's in the actual like MCU proper, and we're not even thinking. Well, you did actually a little bit with Kitty Pryde. I wasn't even thinking about that. Where it's like, what if she's just like character blank that we're gonna introduce, and she's ours? It'd be like a weird pick, but like each Spider-Man movie has a Marvel character, and right now I really like if it's not Daredevil, and if it's like I really don't know who they're gonna get to be this.
Dude, I feel like they're trying to milk Daredevil right now. I think he'll be in there. Last time he was Matt Murdock, this time Daredevil. I think they'll do it.
I hope, but
and maybe Punisher if he's getting his special too, and he's everywhere. Like
then they can fight the Hulk. You know?
Just like that. True. I guess I forgot about that already.
Well, let's take an ad break. And speaking of Punisher, we're going to talk about him a little bit and some other Disney Plus stuff. So we'll be right back. And we are back. So let me pull up the actual quote. But Brad Winderbaum, I'm not sure. We've talked about him a couple times, but I'll mention him a lot more as we go along because I think we all kind of think like, sounds weird. It sounds weird to just like a couple of years ago be like, oh, the MCU's on Disney Plus at Endgame to like now we're kind of like, oh, we think Feige in the next few years is probably done. But either way, so Brad Winderbaum is like the TV Feige. He's right now in charge of that. So he's probably somebody that like, hey, if Feige were to go, you're looking at like that's a potential good replacement, right? But I'm trying to think. Okay, here we go. So I want to bring up. So he's also
now I don't feel like I don't recognize his name. Is he a producer on all these things? He would be
for
right?
all the most of the TV stuff. I think he's worked on some of the movie stuff, but I'm trying to find.
I guess to the movies I pay more attention because I'm waiting for the post credit, whereas the TV show I'm like I got to get to this cast. So I'm gonna turn this off. Yeah.
So this is about Disney Plus doing kind of overhaul, and because Daredevil's coming out right now, he's doing the rounds and stuff. So he's the one that announced the Punisher special, and just in quick 2 little notes, he did confirm that Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man Season 2 and X-Men 97 Season 2 are going to be out next year. So that's kind of great to have those planned. Obviously 97 was a little longer because they've gone through a lot of changes, and then they say their plan is to try and have Spider-Man out yearly. So that's kind of their goal to get that happening. So that's kind of good. And that kind of goes into their plan here because so they asked about Moon Knight Season 2 because also we talked about that as well, streamed and everything like that. So someone asked him, and here's the full quote. He said, so I think Marvel Television has happened in waves. I think Moon Knight happened in waves of shows that were going to establish characters that would tie into the future. And moving forward, our priorities have shifted. We're making shows as shows that can exist as annual releases, more like television.
It's always good to make shows as shows.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what I want to talk about. I would love to see Moon Knight Season 2, but there are plans for Moon Knight down the road. They also, not that was big news, but they shot, he said that, we talked about this a long time ago, that Okoye show that they never had on the slate, but it was announced in like a press release or something. That's off the table, but same things like you'll see her soon. But that's what I just thought was interesting. We've talked about like Disney Plus, and that started with those, like we had big things like Loki, WandaVision, Falcon Winter Soldier, like these characters in the movies that were side characters, always wanted more, but then Disney Plus was the way to do it, and we got them. But then we slowly, after a year or two, realized like, hey, they're very small episodes at time, and there's like a weird pacing to them, and there's a lot of setup for like you got to watch WandaVision to really know what's going on. Doctor Strange, right? Falcon Winter Soldier, they have to do a 5-minute catch up in Captain America. Yep. So now I feel like it's one of these things where, and who knows what they were mandated when Disney Plus came out, but it really does sound like, with the head of TV saying this, it just sounds like the first maybe 3 years of Disney Plus was just like, hey, these are movies that we'd like to make, but we wouldn't want to, like, they don't have faith. Like, they probably wouldn't be like, let's put the WandaVision movie out because maybe they think they would bomb, so let's do it on TV. Where now it's like, you got Daredevil Season 2 come out, and like Spider-Man, they're saying, hey, our plans do that yearly. So what do you think about now? It sounds like we're going to get away from those like the Lokis, the WandaVisions, and all those shows that were like connected to the movies. Now it feels like it's funny because I was listening to our Jessica Jones Season 3 review today just to hear what we thought. We're kind of going full back to like,
I always forget there's a third season of that.
There is the final one. And know what's so funny, when we were reviewing that, I forgot that they had announced it was canceled before we even watched it. So that's something that I didn't even remember. Yeah. So we went in that season knowing it was canceled. But my point is, it's like, it feels like we're just going back there now of, we're going to have shows on TV that they could cross over, but not the same way of like, hey, we're using Wanda and she's setting up Doctor Strange too. This feels like, hey, we're doing Daredevil, and Daredevil's going to be Daredevil for the most part. It's not like Daredevil and then to set up he's in Spider-Man. It might happen, but what do you think about this, that, and even Moon Knight? Now it sounds like the Moon Knight show was just to introduce him for the movies, and even Winterbaum says like, I like a Season 2, but they have plans for him. So it's just like, which we probably think is Midnight Suns or something, but that's a fascinating thing to me to think of. The early Disney Plus was just like kind of really movies chopped up and put up on there in a sense,
Very true. Very true. Yeah, I mean, I feel like looking at all those quotes, it's like, okay, in other words, they're just doubling down on the things that are successful. Daredevil makes a lot of sense. I mean, Daredevil maybe just happened almost by accident because they took one season and cut it into two, and that gives them a really good runway if they want to do this yearly thing because they already are set up for next year, and so they can presumably film the next season next year and then like keep that trajectory going if they want that to be the case.
They start the filming next season tomorrow, Dylan.
Okay, well there you go. So
when people are listening to this, yeah, it's Friday. It's the 28th that they're filming Daredevil season 2. So that's like it's a go. So
yeah, full power.
Yeah.
So I mean that makes sense, and that show has several seasons. Yes, it's on Netflix, so it was a bit different time and all that, but it's like, okay, we have several seasons here to look back. Like, this probably be successful. They feel like they've probably done a good job of setting up Daredevil and like the interest, reintroducing that through like several projects. And so, they're putting a lot of eggs in the Daredevil basket, but I do think it will pay off for them here. And then, like, I don't know, Spider-Man is probably doing great because it's the Spider-Man animated show. So, like, we like it as
and
Marvel
it's cheaper
fans,
too,
but then also,
right?
and then also kids are probably eating that up. And, X-Men maybe is one of those things, too, that they feel like is a good fit in terms of that Saturday morning cartoon, bringing that vibe back. And maybe they found some good numbers with that. That one's also was kind of confirmed before the first season even came out, right? So we'll see. Yeah. Maybe who knows if it continues for 5 to 6 years in a row or if it's just 2 or 3.
I think right now it's 3 they got planned for 97.
Right.
And I think after it's like, let's see how it goes,
Yeah.
And next season is... Not that I like to bring it up too much, but obviously there was the guy, like the Bodomeo thing happened, right? And they got rid of that guy and they replaced him. He did put out there, so again, take whatever you want, but he put out there that a lot of his stuff for season 2 has been taken out or changed. So again, not talking about whatever the guy did or whatnot, but obviously very talented writer. I'm not saying that means season 2 is going to suck, but like my worry it's like the JJ Ryan Johnson thing where not so much even the content being good or whatnot. It's just like clearly X-Men 97 season 1 sets up some stuff. And then what if this new writer's like, well, I don't really want to do that stuff, so let's just kind of go this direction, right? Like, that's my worry with that show where I felt like they brought it back and it was singing, where now there's all this jumbling up. It's getting messy. They want to take this guy's credit off, which, yeah, do whatever. It's your product, but you're changing stuff. And I didn't really love season 3 of What If, and that's the head writer of the new X-Men stuff. And for me, I'm pretty nervous for 97 season 2. I'm like the Jordan Peele sweat right now. I'm not saying don't get Bo DeMeo back. No, if you had obviously lots of issues with him, don't do that. But it's a weird, tricky handoff between seasons where you already had a show planned out. And now it's kind of being rewritten. So.
Yeah, and then when I look at the other things that we have on the slate right now for TV shows, like an Ironheart, like a Wonder Man, what else is coming out that is announced?
Like Zombies, we got that.
Yeah.
And then you got Vision, that's coming out as well, supposedly next year.
So none of those to me seem like yearly things. So I feel like those are kind of relics of the old guard, the old way of introducing new characters, or in the case of Ironheart, kind of, we already got the introduction, but like this is actually her first story on her own. But yeah, I feel like Daredevil and these animated shows seems like pretty safe places to start building up this and see how that goes and get that workflow going and then like kind of build up again in a way. So I think that makes sense for them. And I don't know, I guess I like the idea of getting new characters, but like I kind of would just prefer those characters getting movies than these shows, I think, in some cases. And I don't know, I haven't loved the shows as much in general, but some of them are quite good. So I don't know, I think I maybe prefer the shows for characters that we've already been introduced to, like Loki and Hawkeye and WandaVision kind of coming out as, and Falcon and Winter Soldier, like all ones that already had established characters. So maybe they're even seeing in the results, like it's just better to do it the opposite way. Introduce people on the big screen and then bring them to TV later.
Oh, I think that's always been my pitch. Like the first 3 shows, like I don't get me wrong, I was excited when they announced Moon Knight and She-Hulk, and I loved a lot of She-Hulk. Moon Knight to me was fine, but like to me, when you looked at the numbers, it was like, okay, I think you saw that the people, for the most part, glommed onto the characters that were returning, right? And that's where, to me, it's tough, because I was bringing up this graph. I just want to see, like, the show. So it's, like, obviously WandaVision, because I just want to see, like, how much of the stuff, when you're, like, with Ironheart, I was thinking, okay, how many shows were just there to, like, were any on their own? And there's only really one I could think of, but even then I think I'm wrong. Like, okay, WandaVision, oh, damn, I lost it all. WandaVision, that really set up... Or, oh my God, Secret Invasion, yuck. I forgot about this. But, okay, WandaVision, that sets up Strange 2, right? Falcon Winter Soldier, that sets up Cap for Loki. That, to me, felt like a perfect, like, we've killed them off the movies. We can't do anything else with them. That to me is like a perfect, let's do a show, you know?
And it's one of the few that did get a second season at this point, or
It's
the only one really.
It's the only one so far, like live action. Hawkeye, obviously, that was the one where I'm like, oh, what do you do? But you set up two things. If you set up Kingpin and Kate Bishop to go in Young Avengers, I'll skip Moon Knight for a second. Miss Marvel, they set up for the Marvels, right?
Yep.
This is my two here. Moon Knight, I imagine, is set up because like, oh, we're gonna do a Midnight Suns movie with Blade and all that. That was the setup. She-Hulk's the one that I'm like,
yeah, what was the plan? we said, we talked so much about like was she going to be in Captain America? That obviously didn't happen. So like, yeah, what was the game plan?
Because all these were, like I said, all these shows of this like this Phase 4, I guess it was Phase 4 of the Disney Plus. All of them you could see, okay, they made the show to get us to this point. She-Hulk's the one that doesn't make sense. Maybe they just thought because hey, we can't make a Hulk movie, let's do that. And then when you get to Phase 5, this is when they really go on the air of pumping out content and like. Agatha, that's a spinoff. Echo, that's a spinoff. Loki, that's season 2. Secret Invasion, I guess it was like another Marvel's lead in too. But really, like, I'd say Born Again. You could count Echo, but really, Born Again feels like. Again, it's funny. We're back to the Netflix stuff. That feels like the first show, like the first like, hey, we're gonna do this and do season 2, and it's gonna be a show. Because like you said, Ironheart, that feels like it's her story, but that's probably still just setting up like her and Young Avengers again. We have Eyes Wakanda, Marvel, Wonder Man. I'm sorry, I love Yaya, but that thing's DOA. I think that's gonna come out like. To me, it's like Echo. It's gonna come out, and we're probably never gonna see Echo for a long time. You think Wonder Man's gonna come out? And we're gonna see him in like a Marvel project in the next years after? I don't.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be hard to buy into that considering the fate of Moon Knight and She-Hulk at this point.
Yeah, and then you got Vision Quest, which. Like, the good thing is they're supposedly adapting this story. I think it's just called Vision, but they're adapting this story where he goes to, like, a little suburban town and makes his own family. I think I've talked to you about this before, where he has, like, a robot wife and a robot son and everything.
Yes.
That, to me, feels like the Loki thing, where that's perfect of, like, can't do a movie. Vision's not dead, but he's in this weird limbo of, like, he kind of has his memory, kind of doesn't. Like, that's, to me, a perfect, like, mini-series event. Or even Punisher. Like, we talked about the special. That's perfect. So I feel like they have to be really picky. I was going to ask you, is there any characters, whether we've seen them, whether it's in the MCU or Netflix, or any characters we haven't seen, is there anyone jumps to mind of, like, hey, they should do a, like Daredevil now, like a multi-season, if that's what they're going to do? Because right now, like you said, we don't really have much announced, though, other than Daredevil. Like, this is, even Punisher is a special. It's not like they announced, hey, Punisher's back and he's doing multiple seasons. Like, is that how you do a Jessica Jones? Do you do a Heroes for Hire? Is there anyone else in the MCU? I'm trying to think that you could do, like, I guess maybe Young Avengers could be that, but I feel like that's an expensive, like, multi-season show. I feel like that's almost like a Vision where you get like a one shot. Like, I
mean, I guess if we look at that, like, yes, Miss Marvel has been on the big screen now, but if we do look at the Young Avengers, we got what's his name from Agatha, we got Kate Bishop, we got Miss Marvel. So it seems like, okay, if we're doing that, their legacy so far has largely been on the small screen, on the home screen. So maybe that makes sense as like kind of going that route.
Can you do that for multiple seasons though? Like all that big of a cast?
I guess if you start small, maybe if you start small and you plan it as like maybe even just plan it as like a 3-season thing. It doesn't have to be indefinite, but just 2 or 3 seasons, and you slowly build that roster up, I guess. Maybe, and like I guess I just feel like with the caliber of all those actors, like I don't think any of them are demanding a huge pay check. Like even Steinfeld, like I don't know if she's not Robert Downey numbers, like you can afford her kind of thing. And she might be the most expensive one on that team potentially. Now, if you throw in Tom Holland in there, that's a whole different realm. But I don't think that's the route we're going with Spidey. So that might be a good one. My other one is still definitely some bias here because I love the show, but I do think She-Hulk, among all those shows we talked about, does seem like one of the best ones for like an annual kind of thing, right? Just because it's maybe a bit lower stakes, because it's different tonally than some of the other stuff. Maybe the CGI angle of it makes it tricky just in terms of the production of it.
I think it was expensive to show.
Yeah. Yeah, and so that's maybe the downside. But even like if I compare that to other, like something like Moon Knight, I'm kind of good with the one season we got. Bring him into other stuff. We still haven't seen that, of course, so we'll see if that does ever happen or if we just forget about Moon Knight. But yeah, I think of all those shows, She-Hulk's the one that makes the most sense. Because even if we're talking about Loki, and that was a successful 2-season run, but we've kind of set up like the end of that to some extent. Now you could always keep going with it, of course, and I'm sure we'll see Loki again someday. But I feel like they kind of closed that door to some extent. So I think that would be my answer right now. Would be some more Young Avengers-y things. Even though I've talked about how I'd rather get movies for that, but I think the more we've talked about it, maybe that could make sense there. And yeah, She-Hulk, I guess, would be the ones off the top of my head.
And I was gonna say, because I don't know, you weren't on this cast.
Maybe an X-Men character. I don't know which one, but like that could be another thing too. You
that's
probably want one X-Men property as like a frequent thing, and you can get other characters popping in and out, right?
Last week on Weekly Geek, me and Taylor talked about that was the two things where they canceled or they put on hold. But I'm going to say canceled. They put on hold Strange Academy, Nova, and Terror Inc., which we had never heard of, but they, I guess, were working on that. And I guess, though, in the rumors, though, is that they're working on like an X-Men Academy show. That to me is like a perfect, like, I've always pitched it like it's perfect. Like Harry Potter, multiple seasons, where like to me, that's where it's like Nova, that's a space show. That makes sense why they cancel it. Like, I know people might be like, oh, well, X-Men could be expensive. Well, if you don't give them many fight scenes, it's just set in a big mansion. Like it's not
we need a lot. We need to explain what the heck is going on with the X-Men and why they even exist. So I feel like there's a lot of room for a show to explore that kind of stuff. Even like if it's a 6-episode run, you're not going to get a lot of time out of that. It's pretty short and sweet. So I think they could definitely keep that under wraps, and that would probably have some good synergy with X-Men 97. It's different X-Men strokes for different folks, right? But it would be kind of synergistic at the same time.
And I was trying just to like, Google's awful. Like I was trying to find like just any, maybe no one's done it. Maybe we should have, maybe could see SEO for them, but I tried to find like any like article or Reddit or something, like people have a list of like characters that should get a TV show. Cause I was trying to get some ideas of like characters like Daredevil, where it's who could get a show and be like multi-seasons, right?
You asked me about Jessica Jones and like Defenders era stuff. Like, do you think that Daredevil being the first one of the live action to potentially get this treatment would be like an indicator that that is something they would go down and either bringing back those characters or just setting up other, New York street level people?
Well, I think it's like we got that season 2 and then the Punisher special confirmed. Like, I think they know, the good thing with them is they know that these guys at least have a fan base built in and they're cheaper shows. Not that the talent's cheaper, but like you just got to get Punisher a bunch of fake guns, right? You just got to get Charlie Cox like a good looking suit. Like there's not going to be massive effects. So I feel like, and I don't think it's a mistake. I know Kristen Ritter is in New York filming Dexter right now, but they're also filming Daredevil. You can't tell me she can't take a hop, skip, and a jump to like do. That's like perfect timing for her. Did you hear the name of her killer name in Dexter?
No.
It's what is it? Lady Vengeance. So like Lady Liberty.
Oh,
she's
fucking love that. That's amazing.
Don't know more. She's a serial killer. What I'd say the best thing I think to do.
I haven't had Ritter on my screen in a long time. I need her back in my life, so I'm excited for that.
She did it because she has kids, so I get it. But she had popped up recently. We watched Sonic 3, and that was wild. Emily and I are like, why is she in Sonic 3? And it's very like not a big role. She's like a CIA agent or something. But yeah, she's in Sonic 3.
Is it fun? Like, is it a fun character?
No.
Okay.
She's not bad, but it's just like they just don't give her much to do. But
that's too bad. Yeah.
So if the only thing I'd say out of that realm you could pitch, because also I think we talked about this on the news, Bernthal I think is too busy for a show, so that's why they're doing a special. Right. I think to me a Heroes for Hire show, but like add Jessica in there, like that to me is strong. If they, because I don't know if for the big pull for people, if it's, I think with the canon we're getting now, I do think we'll get the same actors back for Luke Cage and Iron Fist. I think they just want to keep that kind of copacetic.
You think Iron Fist too, hey?
I think so, because I don't think he'll ever be on his own. But that's my thing of like, I don't think even if they announce, hey, we're doing Heroes for Hire, I don't think those two alone have enough pull. I think if you do Heroes for Hire and Jessica's with them, and it's like a 3-way type of show, like one's the muscle, one's the billionaire, and one's the detective. There's like a fun thing you do there. So that's what I could think there. You in the storyline or in the comic storylines, like Jessica and Luke Cage have a kid. There's tons of fun you could do with that sort of stuff. So
yeah, that could be the next Young Avenger, is the offspring of those two, and maybe over the course of the snap, maybe they've already shacked up and we're ready to go. Kid's already 10 years old, like young T'Chaka.
Claire went
T'Challa,
away.
or whoever it is.
Like some of these people, they pick like because I found a Reddit thing finally of like what Marvel character needs their own TV show. Someone put MODOK. Who this was a year ago, so granted, lots of change. But
I
who
don't
in
know
the
if
right
you've
mind thinks
seen where the fate of MODOK is in the current timeline, people. But
the most we got with MODOK was fine with the. Did you ever watch the animated series with the?
I never got around to it. No,
It's fun. It's like a
the
fun
robot chicken kind of thingy.
Yeah, it was. Me and Emily enjoyed it. It was like got a couple laughs, but like someone put Hercules.
Is that on Disney Plus? Must be, right?
I might be. Yeah.
Okay.
Hercules, no, that's not gonna happen. Black.
Oh yeah, I
Bolt,
forgot Hercules got introduced, and that's a big actor now. So
he ain't
maybe
never coming back. He ain't never coming.
you don't think any like Asgard? I guess Asgard is kind of just a hole in the ground, but like you don't think we'd ever get like a Asgardian type character as a centerpiece? We've had a lot of lore set up at that world.
I think it'd be like Kid Loki on a team. I think it's just like what we just talked about. I think Young Avengers would be the cap of how expensive they're willing to go. I think they want to keep them pretty there, like pretty safe and stuff. Like I'm just like the shows people. I guess maybe they're thinking a year ago, right? Like Silver Surfer. I guess like there's a time where I could see them pitch that, but there's no way. I think this Disney Plus is doing a multi-season Silver Surfer show. Like, do you think that? There's like to me, no way.
I mean, we are getting Surfer in the movie, right? So.
But do you think they do a show? Multi-seasons that they're
See,
planning
it's hard
to
for
make
me to say because I don't actually know much about Silver Surfer. That's not a character other than like the original F4. I don't think I've ever actually seen the character in a thing. Like he's just one of those Marvel characters that somehow has slipped past me. So I don't know. I don't know the. Well, I guess in this case, with the woman's Silver Surfer, I don't really know much about the background. Like I don't know if there's the sauce there.
Yeah, no, and I'm just even looking through people's suggestions of like if it's no longer like the original Disney Plus, where hey, anything like She-Hulk, a CGI character is on the table. If it's not like that, if it's like we're trying to make these things a bit more cheaper, go for multi years, taking out the Netflix people, I really don't know, and the Young Avengers, I really don't know what's going to be next for Disney Plus, and maybe like even this year. Well, actually, no, that's a lie. We got Ironheart and Wonder Man, but even next year is just supposedly Vision Quest and Daredevil. So like maybe they're just gonna keep it low. So and zombies, yeah. So we'll have to see, but there's just not much live action. Like I'm just looking at people's suggestions. It's just I don't think it's stuff that will. It's too big. I mean, for what it sounds.
On top of that list, chuck Punisher in there because that's another thing hitting Disney Plus. It's not a show, but it's still
true.
Some Disney Plus content.
Even Ghost Rider now, it's like I feel like. I don't know if that's going to happen now. Because then I feel like if it happens, you're just getting, like, Johnny Blaze a lot. Like, he won't be the rider a lot, you know? But.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. We'll have to see. It'll be interesting in the next couple of years because maybe they're honestly not going to even do too many new shows until after Secret Wars as well, right? Like, get through that. But it's going to be interesting whether Feige's around or not when we get that, if they do it, when we get that, like, slate dump after Secret Wars. I think the thing that at least is safe for them is. You know
the sentence slate dump, by the way.
Yeah, I can't wait for that hashtag slate dump. But you know it's going to be like 4 to 5 X-Men projects that are going to save them, right? You got like X-Men the movie, X Academy, Wolverine, like right there. And then Fantastic Four 2, like that's right there. You already got 4
Ray
things
or Kitty Pryde in Spider-Man 4.
Yeah, exactly. Got that going on. Kitty Pryde also does marry Star-Lord. So if she doesn't get out with Peter.
And he's on Earth and he's depressed and alone, so that's the time. I don't know if I want Chris Pratt and Daisy Ridley. Maybe I do. I don't know if I want that. I don't know. I got to think about that. But no, I think, maybe my final takeaway here is just like for me, as me personally, as an individual person, not looking at the greater fan base and what more people want is, it's proof in just looking at the reviews. Like I've kind of been dipping on shows, and I love the MCU, but I've kind of waned a bit of my interest there with Agatha, now Spider-Man. So I think I'm good with a little bit of a reset, a little bit of a soft reset of just the plan there, and make it a little more exciting for me personally. I mean, I loved X-Men last year, so it's not like it's been that long since I have found a show that I have loved, and that's coming back right away. And I'm excited for Daredevil, so it's not like I'm dead on excitement level. But still, like I go see everything in the theaters. But when it comes to the TV shows, I'm more selective, and so I'd like to get to the point where I'm like, I can't miss whatever the new show is at this point.
At some point, you should catch up on Spidey. Spidey's
I will,
good,
yes.
You know?
Next time I have Disney Plus, I'm gonna finish Agatha and that, but which I guess is probably this week because of Daredevil. So maybe I'll watch them soon.
Oh yeah, someone put Yelena. I think because she's in the Thunderbolts. No, but she's Florence Pugh is too big now. But they're like if she wasn't as big. Pugh. Yeah, but we'll have to see Elektra. Yeah, I just want her back. Let's get her back alive first before
Gardner or
definitely LD Young, So yeah. See, there's like the only person, if they had the budget for it, the only person is like Valkyrie. Like we were talking about Asgard characters, like maybe that's one, but again, I don't think we're going to Asgard, but that's one's like, okay, that's like a good line in the movies, but
I feel like they've already kind of botched like interesting stuff they could have done with Valkyrie.
I think so, but you never know. Yeah. And Hercules, I don't think so, because it's just, I don't think you're ever seeing Hercules ever again. I don't think you're seeing Harry Styles ever again. What are their
really? You don't think Hercules? Styles seems more likely as a dead character, but Hercules, like I think, because we're getting Thor. What the heck are we on now? 4 or 5? We're getting that, right?
Yeah, well, they haven't announced it. I think we will, but I just think they're going to go... I guess he'll be in there, but he'll be like the Warriors 3, where he'll have like a small role. I think they're going to go the complete
So we'll see him again
direction.
then.
Maybe. I wouldn't put money on it, though. Like, I wouldn't...
I just feel like that guy's kind of gaining traction as an actor, as a...
Oh, nothing
hard to call him a big
him.
star yet, but yeah. I think they want to use him,
I just think they'll have go a complete different direction away from the Taika stuff. So like, let's not use... That might remind people...
Yeah, so. I guess he was just he's in there such a small amount that I don't know if they've like set the tone for him yet. Like they could go dark and brooding, which is what that actor does a lot of. So
there's Harry Styles. I know there's like, I'll have to pull it up. I want to pull it up when we in a different maybe bread and butter topic of like all the end credits that have still not been paid off, and we're just
Mahershala
has not been paid off. So, but yeah, there we go. So, let's take our last ad break and we'll talk about some Shrek, talk about some trailers, and we'll be right back. And we are back. So I'm not going to... I guess I might pull up a picture of it. So anyways, we're talking about a bunch of teasers and trailers, but let's talk about Shrek first. So Shrek 5...
Yeah, what is this controversy? I got to hear what's going on here.
So Shrek 5, they revealed it. Let's see if I can get... Okay, perfect. I got a side-by-side. The biggest thing people are complaining about is the animation, and they feel like it's like this is sacrilege what they've done to Shrek, that he looks awful, that there's all this stuff, because I'll get like side by side, but to me, I know he looks like a little different, and on Donkey too, right? So this was just the biggest thing and this has been talked about everywhere, where they don't look the same, they don't have the same animation style. For me, I recognize that okay, they look a little bit different. I think Donkey looks that way because he's older and Shrek looks a little bit older. But for me, I just saw it as okay, this is what they're doing in 2025. But this was an uproar on the internet today. We talked a bit about it on our Discord of I think because the reason is, if you look at the left, obviously that's the DreamWorks animation, and then the right, it's still DreamWorks. But I think people are saying it's almost like Pixar eyes. Taylor thought it looked like AI like. I wouldn't go that far. To me, I didn't think it looked AI like the new Shrek stuff, but yeah, it was a big uproar where there's people saying that they're comparing this to ugly Sonic deal. People have they've not made petitions, but there's trending tweets of people being maybe we can bully them the same way we bullied the Sonic deal. No, legitimately, people are starting campaigns to the hashtags not much this is a big thing, and to me it was just oh, it's Shrek animated in 2025. He's going to look a little bit different, I thought, but I don't know.
Now, okay, you told me the Taylor thing, but what did the other good people of our Discord think? Because those are people that I trust as having sane minds.
I think was with me that didn't think that, and then I think other people just agreed that it did look it looks different, but it didn't to me it didn't look. That's not the first, because I watched the teaser, right? And right now the tweet I have right now is discussing film. And that's a very big Twitter account, right? And the next tweet was, oh, they've redesigned Shrek them. And I'm oh, did they? And I pulled them up. I'm yeah, I guess. But to me, it's just not redesigned. It's kind of I saw a good thing. I'll see if I can pull it up. But the defenders were showing Nathan Drake from Uncharted 3 and then Uncharted 4. And it was because the games were so long. It's just animations and production,
technology,
it changes. So to me, it's I kind of get some of the complaints, but even the Puss in Boots movie, that was animated differently than what he was originally. So I don't get
he just looks like a little more detailed version to me. Now, these is obviously cherry picking 2 screenshots when it's an animation, not a screenshot thing.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be honest, when I watched the teaser, I didn't notice. And, maybe I was wolfing down some broccoli. I was eating my dinner, so I didn't notice. But, I don't know. I didn't catch it personally. But now I'm seeing it when you bring it up. It is noticeable for sure that it's different. But yeah.
But like, is it noticeable? Like to me, when people like look at that. What did they do to him? 24,000.
He's got wrinkles.
Likes.
That's what they did to him.
Like to me,
The
when
poor
people,
guy is aged. Let's not be ageist towards Shrek.
He has
okay?
3 kids. That ages you like in a second. But when people bring the ugly Sonic thing, to me, that's a whole different leap. Like Sonic in that first trailer looked nothing like Sonic other than he was blue. Oh, look, the chat's alive now. They're waiting to get in here.
I know. They woke up. Their little Shrek ears perked up when they heard.
I'm telling you, people are passionate about the Shrek thing. But SBub says it looks like it's a Puss in Boots animation, but with normal frame rate, less stylized borders, effects. At least in my opinion. I agree. Like people don't talk about the Puss in Boots like it was different. Super Mike says, "Yeah, it looked fine to me. The last movie was 10 years ago. Obviously, you're gonna have changes." So we got some sane people here, but I was trying to find the Puss in Boots. Yeah, like here's the thing: Puss in Boots is different, like it's a little bit different, but to me it was just like the ugly Sonic thing. He's blue and he's a hedgehog, sure, but he looked so different. Like the Sonic, like you remember what ugly Sonic looked like, right?
Yeah, I mean I tried to block it out of my mind, but I do remember.
Let's see if I even say ugly Sonic and see if people are talking about that right now, because I feel like people are making the compare. Yeah, look at that. That's not Sonic.
That's not good.
So people, like, even what's this treat? No Way Shrek. Like, this is what I mean. No Way Shrek and Donkey got the ugly Sonic treatment. This is not
at least this
the
tweet
ugly...
only has 15 likes.
It does. I know. It was the first thing came, but I've seen other people, Dylan, bring this up, like other trending tweets, but like, that is not Sonic. That is not Sonic the Hedgehog.
No,
that's something else. But that to me, I could say, like, oh, that's Shrek and Donkey. That look a little bit different. It's fascinating.
Yeah, I'm on you and S-Bubs and Mike's side of the equation.
There's no, like, I don't see how people see the sides of this. Like, even Donkey, it's like, he don't look that different. Like, his ears are down. He has some, like, I don't know. It's a fascinating world we're in.
Sometimes the internet is exhausting. This sounds like one of those times for me.
Did you ever, Jesus Christ, Ugly Sonic was something horrendous, man. Did you ever see the Chippendales movie that came out during COVID?
No, absolutely not.
Okay. I don't know if I would get copyrighted for this, but let me see if I can quickly find it. They did a good thing here. But while I'm looking this up, what did you think of... also, you knew Shrek's coming. Apparently, it's going to be about his daughter. The rumor is they released this trailer actually early because Scooper's got that Zendaya was in it. So they're like, just release it because people know. But Zendaya's playing the main daughter. There's rumors that Lord Farquaad's coming back because you're going to love this. There's rumors that this movie features the multiverse. So there you go. But supposedly that obviously Zendaya is... If she's not the main character, it's like main character A with Shrek. So also it's a very mini teaser. But what did you think about this? And are you excited to have Shrek back in your life?
I don't know. Like, here's the thing. I've never even seen past number 2. Okay.
What?
So there are multiple Shrek movies I could go right now and watch for the very first time.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about 5. No, I mean I don't care. I watched the first 2. I loved them as a kid, and then I grew up a little bit more, and I was less interested, and then 15 years have passed since then, and here we are today. So I don't really care. I think Zendaya, I love her, so it's cool that she's in there. Bringing back Farquaad, I have some good nostalgic, fun memories with that guy. So it all seems good to me. But yeah, am I excited? No.
Okay.
I can't honestly say I am, just because, like I said, I haven't even watched number 3 or 4, the holiday special or the Christmas. I don't even know what these series does anymore, but it did a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, they did. They had, I think, a holiday special and a Christmas special, you're right. And then obviously they had the Puss in Boots movie and then Puss in Boots show.
And yeah, I haven't even seen the first movie, Puss in Boots. I watched the second one because it was Golden Geek material. Yes. But I haven't even seen the first one of that. And I'm sure there's like 6 Donkey movies. I haven't seen those.
There's rumors of a Donkey movie coming, actually. Okay. But Super Mike says, you crushed my anticipation mentioning Shrek multiverse. Just a rumor right now, so we'll see. But that is, I think, how Lord Farquaad gets back. I don't know, because here's my thing.
Did he die? I can't even remember.
He did. He got eaten by a dragon.
Okay, but that's, did you see his dead body, or did he just get eaten by a dragon?
Well, he got eaten, and then in the Halloween special, they talked about how the ghost of Lord Farquaad haunts the castle, and you do see him in ghost form. You do see him in ghost form. Yeah. The reason too was really cool. When I went to Universal, that was the 4D ride. That was great, and then they turned it into like a little TV show. But it's like when rats would run by, feel the rats on your feet. When dragon fire, it was like fire. It was really cool. But what I was gonna say, as something that's a big, before the MCU started, Shrek was maybe the most successful cinematic universe. You had multiple Shreks, these specials, Puss in Boots. It's still going strong now, right? But what's interesting to me, people are gonna say it's bullshit, but for me, what ifs, multiverse, time travel, it's all the same like type of bag, right? Like to me, a multiverse story is pretty much a time travel story in a way. It's like what could have happened. So you didn't get to 4. What happened is in 4, he meets Rumpelstiltskin, and of course he gets tricked into some sort of deal, and it's kind of like a what if he didn't meet Fiona, right? So then because he like the whole thing is he's like at a birthday. They had the triplets in 3. They're having a birthday party, and there's so many people, and Shrek's just like, I fucking hate my family and kids. Like it's like kind of like that story of like, what if I was alone again, right? Like I just won my free time and I could be my swamp, and Rumpelstiltskin's like, yeah, wouldn't it be great? So they do this where he makes a deal and he sees what his life would have been like if he didn't meet Fiona. And like Fiona's like a warrior ogre and Donkey doesn't know him, but he has to like get Fiona's love back in 7 days or the curse stays forever, right? So to me, Shrek 4 was the lowest grossing, and I think it's everyone's least favorite, but they kind of already did the like what if in a Shrek movie, and they're doing it maybe again, which is kind of odd. So I want to see what it is. I'm sure it's just a book spell, but I think either way, I think this movie is going to be massive. For a long time, Shrek 2 was like the top grossing animated movie. I think to like one of the Toy Stories knocked it off, but I think people already love Shrek, but I think because he's been gone for, I don't know, when was Shrek 4? I think we're coming on a couple.
I mean, he is still as culturally relevant as he has ever been.
Okay, so
people just love Shrek.
2010 is when Shrek Forever After came out, and that's coming out next year. So we're looking at 16 years. I think that's a big thing, and I think lots of people, I think this movie has lots of things because they always were making like pop culture references and digs and jokes. Like when people already were giving it shit of like, oh my god, they're doing like a TikTok spoof. It's like, did you not watch the Shrek movies? Like that was the whole gimmick of that. They were medieval times, but they were like making jokes about like regular day things and pulp. Like why is Snow White sing like Ozzy Osbourne? That shouldn't happen in medieval times, but like, that happened. So I'm and Zendaya, sure. I guess they probably threw a bag of money at her just because I thought her career was going on like a different trajectory. It's fine, but like let's call a spade. Mike Myers, Cameron Diaz, Eddie Murphy, they were never like gonna be in the Zendaya like Oscar-winning type of actress, right? Like they're massive stars, but they were never that career-wise. But maybe Zendaya's want to do it. Maybe she wants to be like just a box office draw, and Shrek helps with that. So what?
She probably just grew up loving it, and then someone asked her if she wanted to be in it, and she's like, "Well, hell yeah, that's one of my favorite movies." So I think it's probably as simple as that.
Yeah. So I'm just going to set this up. This is only 40 seconds. Chip and Dale's, they did this great thing where they were at a Comic-Con where it's just like old animated characters or whatnot or something like that, whatever it is. And they I don't know how they got the rights to this. I'm sure there's a story, but they see Ugly Sonic there, and he's got like a booth. And
I'm going to be up on that stage too, right beside you.
Yes, Ugly Sonic, that's the spirit.
And they'll like me for who I am. Not like last time when the internet got one look at my human teeth and burned the place down. Okay, let's see. Anyway, now my luck has shifted. I've been offered a new reality show where I do ride-alongs with the FBI. It's called Ugly Sonic, Uglier Crimes.
Really? A TV show? You?
Yeah, is that so difficult to believe?
Oh. I guess.
That's what Mike was talking about. The teeth was nightmare.
Yeah, you know what? That's...
So kudos to them. That's just, it's not like, for me, the content in there, funny enough, like it's all right, but just the fact that Ugly Sonic
6 out of 10. Yeah,
the joke within itself is just like, oh, that's a smart, like whoever had the idea of like think about like old retired like BC list celebrities like having Ugly Sonic, great stuff there. So
good stuff. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, trailers. We got a bunch of trailers to talk about.
So many.
The Surfer, Another Simple Favor, Freaky Tales, Borderline, Havoc, and Bring Her Back. Where do you want to start?
Oh my God, where do I want to start? Maybe I'll start with a low one for me because I need some context here. Another Simple Favor. I don't know anything about Simple Favor. What's going on here?
You've never seen the first one?
No. So what's going on here? What's the what's the elevator pitch of the first one, and why are they making a sequel?
Elevator pitch of the first one is nerdy girl gets befriended by cool girl, but cool girl's a monster.
Like a literal monster?
No, but like, that's why even this trailer, like, is she a aristocrat? Is she a killer? I didn't know that.
Okay.
I thought you'd seen it, so I wouldn't have made you watch this. So I
Are
apologize.
these is the same cast, or is it like a
exact same cast? Yeah.
Okay.
So it's
Are
everybody.
you excited for this? Is that a good movie?
No.
First one?
First one's fantastic. No, first one's fantastic. It's one of these movies. So it's like when it's Paul Feig and he does all those look up his IMDb and you'll know what I'm talking about for the most part. They're all you've seen that type of comedy movie, and he did Bridesmaids, but I think that's his best one. They're all like different versions of like
Ghostbusters, The Heat, Spy.
Yes.
Okay.
So you see then you know what a type of director he is, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So with The Simple Favor, it had like a little bit about that, but it was more of a drama, and it was very well done. It's a very cool like cat and mouse like dramedy thriller, and Anna Kendrick and Blake Lively had really great chemistry, so it was really good. So it was one of these films that was like a surprise hit when it came out that year, just like critically, and like even me, I think I saw it because like Emily like, oh, I want to see it. I was like, yeah, okay, sure. Like I had very low expectations. There is a review actually somewhere on GeekVerse. I liked it as much as I did a solo review, and it's really good. But it's also a movie that feels like it should not have a sequel at all. It feels like it ends very like the book is shut on this chapter. Like many bad things get revealed about Blake Lively's character. So the fact that it's like she's at a prison and like wants her to come to the wedding, don't know why you would eat, because the whole trailer, you've seen this where it's like, oh, what do you want? You trying to get back? And like, why would you do? Like, I'm waiting for hopefully watch the movie and see what the other hook is. Because why is this person who all these bad things are revealed about her and they're maybe after you, you're going to like give them a second chance? Like, I'm sorry, Dylan, like a minor spoiler for the first one. If anyone in my real life tries to murder me, I'm not going to, there's no second chances for that person. What
about Taylor? He's tried to murder you many times. Hasn't he?
I guess the problem is...
Or is that always at the cover of Nightfall and Pan Solo? And
no, you're right.
You're
right. But the problem is we're contractually bound by this podcast. I don't see my real life. So like when he invites me over, like I don't go there and anything like that. So
because he might have poisoned the food or something.
Yeah. And that's actually the real reason why we cast like virtually now.
I actually do live in Kelowna, but we just do this.
It's all a front
safety.
because Taylor's trying to kill me. So, but
okay.
So in that aspect, if I wasn't on a podcast with someone, I wouldn't see them again. But
Fair.
yeah. So for me, I'm interested, but it's a movie that I feel like they made because they got a big paycheck. And I don't even think it's going to box office. It was like a box office like minor hit, but So I would not put that in there if I didn't know you'd seen. I thought we talked about it at some point on the podcast or something.
No, I mean I'm glad I just learned that, and
yeah,
we'll see if I remember it by the time this movie comes out. Probably not.
If you never have something to watch and you're in for like a little fun comedy thriller, the first one is I think worth your time. There's some good stuff, but.
And then the next one I'll bring up is I'll bring it right back. Bring her back. This is the next movie from the people who did Talk to Me. This movie looks fantastic. I am very excited for this. I love that movie. I think it's I guess the year before this Golden Geeks we did like best horror movie. I think that was the winner, right, of that category that we did for 1 year.
Yeah. We forgot to do that this year.
I don't think I didn't really forget. I don't think I had the sauce, and I don't think that category had the sauce. We just didn't have enough fuel for it to make it super exciting.
And we also had Long Legs and Nosferatu in Best Golden Geeks. So they got to the main category.
So I'm glad we tried it in that year. And I think on certain years, if there's certain genres that are just slammed, it would be fun to get some bonus categories in there. But I'm glad we did that one year. But anyway,
Best
Talk to Me really
biopics.
Yeah, exactly. That could be it. Talk to Me, really great, really interesting movie. Like visuals of it are great. Before I even saw that sizzle thing in the trailer, that reminded me who the directors were. It was giving me Hereditary vibes, and if you're giving me Hereditary vibes, I'm into it. The people, the weird naked people touching people in weird ways, the strange cinematography. I think this looks really great. So I'm very excited for this one. This is definitely like jumped up that anticipated list for me now. I'm pretty stoked for this one.
Yeah, I'm very excited for it. I loved Me Feel Strong. I think I really loved it. I gotta watch Talk to Me again. Like I want to say I loved it, but I don't think it was in like my top 10. I feel like I gave it like a good score. I don't know. I remember very much enjoying it. It's so hard nowadays to find concepts that are unique, right? Because lots of
Yeah,
times it's
true.
just like, here's a spin on this. I got no problem. Like when we made Adrenochrome, that's like a spin on Saw and A Dangerous Game. Those are like two movies I like or franchise I like. It's like, hey, here's a version of like what I kind of want to do with it. But I was inspired by other projects, right? Where Talk to Me, I'm sure they were inspired by other things, but that's like I don't know a movie where you hold a hand and talk to other dead people, right? Maybe there's some Are You Afraid of the Dark episode in the 90s or something.
And
So
then
it's
like nail that concept so well
Yes.
visually and story wise and acting wise, right?
But so for me, the only thing that held me back was it's funny because they're already making. Okay, I gave it 4 out of 5. I gotta watch it again though. The actress, great job. I think I had like issues with the third act, if what I remember. I feel like there's some stumpiness there, but it's still the point where I'm like, I'm very excited to see what they do going forward. My only thing was they've announced that they're doing Talk to Me 2. If they did announce that,
I forgot about that.
yeah, if they did announce that, I swore that this movie would be like it's a sequel but not a sequel, because it feels like there's some very similar vibes. Like even the title, like Bring Her Back, it seems like there's a circle and they're communicating. You see multiple dead things. So that's not my concern, but I'm just wondering if it's going to feel, I want to see what the real pitches of the story, because I don't want to be like too samey. Like it feels like it's like another movie. If you were to show the trailer to Talk to Me and to this, and if I were to give you a log line of it's a movie about communicating with the dead, that looks like it's not the exact same movie, but they have there's like a 1-to-1 comparison.
Especially
right?
even like as a creative, you release that movie, you're working on the sequel in some way. Are they still working on the sequel, or is it other people?
They're directing the sequel.
So their mind is filled with Talk to Me. Like it's all over the place, swirling around in that brain. So I'm sure influences are going to pop in even unintentionally.
And who knows, it might even be like a Black Mirror situation where like these don't connect, but they're still in the same type of universe, which I don't mind because Tarantino does that and Kevin Smith does that, where it's like, these things are kind of loosely connected. So no, I'm very intrigued. Some very creepy visuals. I think they're much like Neon with Long Legs, where I don't know if it's these directors or whoever they're working with. I think they always get their trailers cut really well. Like I think they do a good job of showcasing it. So I think I will be there and that's this summer too. It's like not too far away. So I was excited about. That was my only thing. I'm like, oh, this looks very not similar, but very in that same type of tone. But not a bad thing, because I like to Talk to Me. I just wonder, like, same thing now. It's like if it is similar, like what juice do they have for Talk to Me too? Because I feel like you might want to save some of that. But like I said, this trailer didn't reveal a lot. I like Sally Hawkins, the actress, so maybe there's just gonna be some wild swings that we're not even thinking about yet. So, and I think
she's another one too. I
people.
haven't seen her in anything in recent times, so I'm excited for that.
When was the last thing you seen? Was it the Fish movie?
It might have been, which was like a long time ago now.
What the hell is that called?
Oh God!
It won Best Picture.
It did.
Hidden. No, Creature of the Sea.
No.
Oh, because that's the problem with the memes and everything. Like it just became the fish sex movie. You know, like that's what it's.
S-Bub's in the chat. We're gonna need to get bailed out here. What the hell is that movie called?
Guy in the chair. Yeah, I won't. Oh, I feel like it's something C or it's chat. You can tell, so I'm not gonna look it up. But I just feel like
we got Mike Shannon in there. We got fish sex. We got fish tanks.
Yeah, Sally Hawkins, Guillermo del Toro.
Not Call.
Is woman in the title?
Woman. The woman.
I can't believe
fish,
this movie.
Is fish in the title? Fish. Shape of Water. There you go.
It is Shape of Water. Damn it, good job. Thank you, Superman Mike. One of our
A pretty good
patrons.
title. A pretty good title too. I like that title, but I just couldn't.
It's also
the top of
but it's also like words that aren't like too memorable, right? Like it's something where it's not. It's not like, to me, like Django Unchained, where it's like, oh, that's a very like that just stands out, right? Or Shape of Water, that could be like a soap opera too. But
it's true.
All right, where are we going next? Or unless you got more on this.
There was a triage for me at Freaky Tales, Borderline, and Havoc that didn't really move the needle for me. They're all kind of like
Freaky Tales, eh?
No, not really. They were all in that bucket of like excited to see what the Discord thinks of this, but I'm not going to be the guinea pig on this one. I'm going to wait and see what other people think.
Okay.
But I kind of have low expectations for all three of them for different reasons. But I think mostly is none of them really had a style that was calling to me or a concept, which are, for these kind of genres, the thing that really bring me in.
So Freaky Tales, that's been a movie making the film festival circuit for a while. Like I think it's one of those like was maybe done in 2023 4 or 3 even, but it's gotten really good. Like anytime it's been shown somewhere, people are always like, oh, this is a really fun anthology movie. There goes my voice. So that's I love a good anthology movie. I like the cast of Pedro and some other people, like even the Ironheart actress is in there. So I'm curious to see that all out. But yeah, so I don't know. I liked the style. I liked the idea of it, like kind of has a little bit of 80s retro. You could see there was different not dimensions. I can't remember what ratios. There's different ratios in the stories. So like I'm curious to see how they tie all together or if they're not. But yeah, so that one I'd say obviously you're waiting for the Discord, but that one look I think there's the most potential because every time that's a film festival.
That's a good context for sure. You're selling me more than the trailer did.
Because even the trailer is like Sundance, and Sundance is like a big one. It's like a horror movie that's Sundance. So like hey, did I try to submit to Sundance? I can't remember. But anyways,
you could put that as one of the laurels submitted to Sundance.
They don't give me those ones. I wish. But yeah, and then Havoc. I wish the trailer was longer, but you've never seen any of the Raid movies, have you?
No.
The Raid is like one of the most inspirational action movies of all time. You would watch that movie, and that would probably be a movie you'd be like, oh, this doesn't feel like anything I haven't seen before. It's because like all the action movies of like the 2010s copied that. Like the one takes and Daredevil and stuff, they're all inspired by the Raid. Like it's that type of style. So the only reason I'm excited for this is there's this, and he has a TV show coming to Paramount. I'm just excited to have Tom Hardy potentially back in some good stuff. So the Raid, I definitely recommend it. It's a foreign film. There's not even that much talking in it, but it is maybe worth a watch. Go ahead.
That's it's funny when we did Golden Geeks recently, and I mentioned Tom Hardy for his role in Bike Riders, which I was the only one who had seen that movie, but I really liked him in there, and it was like a good reminder of like, oh yeah, Tom Hardy's really good. Like when you put him in something that isn't the Sonyverse. But yeah, it's funny because I saw this trailer get mentioned in the Discord. I think it was this movie, but then I watched the trailer. I'm like, okay, well, like I want to see Tom Hardy in something that's really good, but like, is that going to be this, or is this just going to be like another generic action flick where he's doing something that anyone else could do?
This trailer definitely just banked on, because they even do like from the creators or whatever of the Raid. It's like they're definitely just banking on like, okay, this trailer's nothing too special, but if you like the Raid, go check this movie out. Okay. I like Timothy Olyphant, so I forgot he was in there.
Yeah,
but yeah, no, happy you reminded me about Bike Riders, because I got a list of movies I gotta watch now that I'm done Daredevil. I just finished my rewatch today, so I'm gonna start watching. Like I'm gonna watch The Gorge. You're not gonna watch The Gorge, right? Because you said those trailers are awful, but everybody that's seen it tells me the trailers are awful.
I think I like the trailers. I thought.
Okay, maybe it was Kirk. Oh, maybe it was Kirkland.
I think it was Taylor or Kirkland. I want to check that movie out. Yeah,
I keep hearing good things. So Bike Riders is one that I have on my Amazon list, but I'm hoping this is good. And then Borderline, I don't know how this is gonna. I got a lot of pieces why I'm curious. I love Samara Weaving. Yeah. I don't mind. Like I think this is like this is one where we talked about just a second ago. We've seen variations of this plot, right? Of superfan or stalker kidnapping somebody, and it's like a wild 24, 72 hours, but those sometimes can be pretty great. I am very curious on Ray Nicholson, because people should know I love Jack Nicholson. You talk about classic stars of like old Hollywood. To me, it's Jack Nicholson and Charlton Heston. Those are my guys. I will like Jack Nicholson. I just love that man. I think he's one of the greatest actors of all time. He's he record Oscar winner, Dylan, only person, him, Daniel Day, and Meryl Streep to win 3 Oscars. Very impressive in the acting category.
Oh, I thought Daniel Day was like eclipsed to them at some point, but I guess not.
No,
okay.
Jack's right there. People forget about Jack because he's been.
What were his 3 wins?
It was One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, As Good as It Gets. And I always forget the first one because I always think it's Chinatown, but it's not Chinatown. But he should have won.
Are these all leading,
Chinatown.
or did he get a supporting one in there?
One's lead, one's a support, and I think the other one is a lead as well. So I will find out in a second. But so I've only seen him in Smile 2, and
I gotta go watch his Oscar-winning stuff because I don't think I've seen any of those. So
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest is a good. Did you not read that book in school? Even
I did read the book in school. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, he plays McMurphy, and he's just like. He's just giving it, man. He's a perfect McMurphy. But what was the other one?
McMurphy.
It's always a movie that like I forget, which is bad. Not the movie bad. It's bad that I forget it. Where is it? Hang on, I almost have it. There it is. Terms of Endearment. Okay, so that's why.
Terms of Endearment. Okay.
Not a movie I go back to.
It's a Shape of Water like title. It's forgettable.
Yes, yeah. But so his son, it's strange. I only saw him smile too.
Because that's his son is the main guy in here.
Ray
is what you're
Nicholson,
telling me.
yeah.
Gotcha.
So it's
Okay.
a weird, like, if you were to say, like, draw Jack Nicholson from memory, because sometimes he looks very much like his father, but then other times
I didn't notice it
doesn't.
at all, to be
Okay.
honest.
It's when he has his hair pulled back and when he smiles, he looks like Jack. I think the throw off,
Okay.
though, is that he doesn't sound like his dad at all. So I'm just going to, maybe this is pure just like,
Have you seen him act in anything yet?
Smile
Any big
2,
roles?
he had a small role.
Small role.
He's like an
Okay.
abusive boyfriend, which he was like good at, but like it's like just a small role. But so this is like me like bringing in like
So
nepotism.
right now he's being
as-
typecast as the abusive boyfriend.
100%, yeah. So this
We're
is
all
me
gonna
bringing.
start somewhere, I guess.
I'm bringing nepotism as a fan, and I'm just hoping. But I still like Travis is calling him an industry plant. I'm not saying that, but sometimes
It happens.
that can happen. And Jack Nicholson's your dad. I'm sure it's opened up a lot of doors. But what you still have to do though, you still got to have the chutzpah like.
That yeah.
through.
I listened to an interview with Quali lately,
Mm-hmm.
and she's just I've never seen an interview before, and she's just so delightful and fun, and just seems
Yeah.
like the best person ever. And it was so cool in that interview. She was talking about how like you know what, a lot of the opportunities I got nepo baby stuff, but
Yeah.
then she backs it up by being a badass actor too. So I don't know what that is really related, but just shouts to
No,
Quality.
like, and I'm not trying to, like, this sounds mean. Colin Hanks, I like the guy. He seems like a good enough actor, but like, you don't see him in a bunch of stuff nowadays, right? Like, he's here around you could make his argument that his dad's one of the greatest actors of all time, 2-time Academy Award winner, and that's where it's like, I think Colin Hanks is a good actor, but he was not his dad, and that's where it's like if you don't
It's
have.
funny you say that because I saw him in 2 movies recently, but they're both it's Tenacious D and King Kong, which are old
Yeah.
movies at this point.
How big is his role in Tenacious D?
He might have been cut from the final thing. Actually,
Oh,
he might be in a
really?
deleted scene. It's
Okay.
like he's like a frat bro. Like throws a can
course, yeah.
at Kyle's head. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see. This is a movie though could easily be like a 2 out of 5 on Letterboxd. Like I has those type of vibes. I'm pretty sure Samara Weaving's like husband is like writing and or directing it, which can be a good or bad thing. Because sometimes you work well with each other and sometimes it doesn't. So we'll see.
Yeah, it gave me Woman of the Hour vibes, only in the sense that, Woman of the Hour, Kendrick and Autumn Best, really great, but the male guy like kind of let me down and kind of made the whole thing kind of come down to quality. And that's kind of the vibe I was getting here with this one. Was I wasn't loving Mr. Nicholson's situation that he had going on here.
Dang. Well, we'll have to see. The thing that worried me was I was more happy, like I guess because the pitch is that he's kidnapped her and they're gonna get married, so you need all these people. But I got less interested when I met the other people because they felt very, very over the top. Like there's that girl that has like a present with her and she's blood on her, and there's some like, of course, big lurching dude. So I don't know. And then there's only one trailer we haven't talked about, so I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing for you. The Surfer, man.
Well, one also I saw that on the Patreon you had Fear Street, and then you didn't put that in the notes to me. But
I did. I
watch that
took it
trailer.
off. Oh, you did? I took it off after I saw it. I'm like, I just don't need to make Dylan watch this because it wasn't. It was literally just a day announcement. But I'm excited for more Fear Street. I liked those first 3. So
Yeah, me too. I mean, once again, they're kind of going down like, hey, what are some tropes that have been done before,
Yeah.
but like we're gonna spice it up and make it fun, and so they're doing it again, which I'm excited for that. But the Surfer, save the best for last potentially. I think this is a really great trailer. I think this movie looks like super duper fun. I mean, I think Nick Cage. I mean, this guy's always doing like 17 projects a year, so it's hard to keep track. But I feel like he's on a run that I'm really enjoying right now.
he's doing 17 good projects a year now.
Yeah. But I think this looks so fun. Like everyone just kind of constantly gawking at him or like making fun of him or like terrorizing him. But then like it's creepy, and then like some of the cinematography is like wild and interesting, and yeah, I'm very intrigued. I also love just how silly the concept is. Like he just goes surfing again, realizes he loves it, and like buys a beach house to go surfing again, and then like people are mad at him about that. But it seems like it's gonna get existential or trippy at moments. Like what's not to love? It looks fantastic.
Yeah, I was just trying to see what else this Lorcan Finnegan. What else if he's directed anything or if he's a newer
Sweet
director? 12 things he's directed, but I think they're short, so they almost look like some foreign stuff. So nothing like he directed like a segment on Nightmare Radio. Don't know what that is, but there you go. So yeah, so getting his maybe first crack here. Yeah, this is obviously because like I like Nick Cage, and it was funny. Like I talked about, like he's doing good stuff now. I think it was last year when Longlegs came out. He did an interview, and he talked about like all those straight to DVD stuff he did, and he was just honest that he said like he was in a lot of debt, and he didn't get to choose what he like he chose, like he wasn't choosing. He was just like, what can I do to like make a bunch, because this is a guy at one point I'm pretty sure he owned an island, and I'm sure in the 90s he was rolling in it. Like again, another guy people forget he won an Oscar. I'm sure in the 90s he was like one of the biggest stars, and you know, you might make a couple bad purchases. So I like this, like, hey, back then I couldn't really pick, I just had to take whatever I could, get the money. But I feel like maybe a little bit before then, but ever since God, what's the movie he did with Pedro? I'm awful today with titles.
Oh my God, now I'm on the spot.
It's like something talentless, or The Incredible Talents, right? It's like
The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. Okay.
Yeah,
I pulled it
good
before
job.
the chat
You
did.
got it.
Let the
Yeah.
record be known.
Dylan got it. Yeah. I feel like ever since then, which is kind of a funny starting point because I was kind of making fun of Nick Cage as like a person. Since then, it's been great, and that looks very fun. This is on my radar for a different reason though, because the guy that's like the main, he looks like the antagonist, the guy that has like the red hoodie on all the time. I've talked about this many times on the show. I absolutely love the TV show Nip Tuck from the 2000s, the show about plastic surgery.
Yeah.
And oh fuck, I forgot we talked about him. He's Doctor Doom, remember? That's the Doctor Doom actor from the original Fantastic Four. So he's in here, and the thing I told you guys, because I feel like you guys all thought I was lying. I'm like, Julian McMahon like can be a great actor. This is a guy who was like the same time Daniel Craig was auditioning for Bond, he was too. Like he can have the goods. I think he just made some bad agent calls, or his agent made some bad calls on projects, but like he has the chutzpah, and he looked very fun. And what I love about this is like he looks like he's an antagonist, but it looks like they're going to go through a big journey of like trust and not trust, because it didn't look like he was like they never turn it to like, and now I'm going to try and kill him. Like it never got to that level. It just always looked like they were at each other's necks. But in like a real life situation, at the end it looks like, okay, we might get a little crazy with some drugs or whatever Nick Cage is doing by this fire pit. But yeah, I can't wait. It comes out in May. I don't know if I'll see this in theaters. I'll have to wait till word of mouth, but it's definitely going to be seeing it, and I cannot wait. And I hope it comes up with like maybe Golden Geeks or something. Also looks like a movie could be incredibly like disappointing, but it did the festival run and it got some good word of mouth. But yeah, it's feeding my Julian McMahon-isms, because like same thing, like the past few years he was like an FBI, which is like a CBS like NCIS show. It's like I can't watch this. Like it's always like he's doing stuff like that where it's like I can't watch you an FBI. Like I love you, Julian McMahon, but like do something else. And he just looks good. So I'm hoping this is like someone might see him kind of like Eric Dane when he did Euphoria, and now he's like in this and that. It's like, oh yeah, I like.
Oh yeah, what trailer was Eric Dane? Was it the one with Samara Weaving?
It is. He's her security detail that like loses her, so he's trying to find her. So that sold me too. I was like, oh, Eric Dane, he's like the supporting tough guy. That's great. So same thing. Since Euphoria, he had a little run. So I'm hoping this is that. But
I'm happy
we'll
for you.
see. I'm sure we'll talk about it because it's Nick Cage. Taylor usually sees those, and like I said, maybe we'll be talking about next year. Maybe I would, the satisfaction I get to have Julian McMahon and the Golden Geeks best villain just as a nominee.
That would be so fun. That would be a great full circle kind of.
It would be. There. Do I think it's gonna happen? No, I don't. But I'm hoping the movie is so undeniable that could happen. But
I mean, the competition's fierce this year. We got Lex Luthor out there, Galactus, Silver Surfer. There's gonna be a lot of villains this year.
Right, we do have those. Yeah, who knows? But well, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. We did it. Dylan, anything else to say before we're out of here?
Absolutely not. That was a great episode.
Yeah, we're back together on Monday. Talk about side quests. I should probably this at the beginning for the gimmicks back. We'll be doing that, and yeah, head over to Patreon. Lots of good specials, lots of good things. We appreciate the support on everything we do. Thank you very much. We'll talk to you next week, and it will not be boring.